Stevenson Heating and Cooling is your independent American Standard air dealer.
Coming up in 2 minutes, brush fires contained by firefighters in southern Indiana Wednesday. Plus, Donnie Burgess reports on the 11th day of the Delphi murders trial. And be ready to spring back again on your clocks. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. I'm Kirk Darling. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 9 o'clock.
Expect more trash talk on the campaign trail. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Former President Trump will campaign in New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada.
You know what? The truth is they've treated our whole country like garbage, whether they meant to or not, because they're grossly incompetent people, and they've destroyed our country.
That was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where Trump got in a garbage truck, then wore a worker's protective vest on stage, highlighting President Biden's comments the day before.
250 million Americans are not garbage.
Now, President Biden in the White House insists he didn't mean all Trump supporters are garbage. He just was denouncing one, the comedian at Trump's Sunday rally, who called Puerto Rico garbage, angering some minority voters. Like Trump, Vice President Harris will go to Arizona and Nevada. After rallies, also in Wisconsin and North Carolina, she also told Pennsylvania voters,
unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe people who disagree with me are the enemy from within.
New Fox News polls show the race still very close in 3 battleground states. A Trump-Harris tie in Pennsylvania among likely voters with third-party candidates included. Trump is up by 2 points in North Carolina. Harris has a 2-point edge in Michigan, where Fox's Kristen Goodwin reports.
The results suggest Harris has nearly erased the former president's lead on the economy. 48% say they trust the vice president to do a better job on the issue, while 50% trust the GOP presidential nominee. A 2-point lead, but that's down from his 11-point lead on the issue months ago before President Biden dropped from the race.
And we just got an inflation update, a gauge called personal consumption expenditures for September.
Let me give you the numbers. We came in at 0.2 up month over month. That was the estimate. 2.1 was the year-over-year estimate, in line.
That's Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni. In line means what economists predicted. It's also the same annual inflation rate as in August. 5 people are dead in northern Israel after a Hezbollah rocket attack from Lebanon, where Israel's also been bombing those militants for weeks. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Dry plus wind can equal fire. A line of showers settling in at 67 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Firefighters in Monroe County were battling a large brush fire just east of Bloomington Wednesday afternoon. The fire was in and around the North Fork State Wildlife Refuge. The fires were contained by late evening, say firefighters. Burn bans are blanketing the state today. 46 counties are under a complete burn ban as dry conditions continue to prevail.
We've been under a tenth of an inch, which if the month would have ended yesterday would have set the record for the month. It does look like we could get upwards of maybe a quarter inch today.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service says any rain today will be gone by late afternoon, just in time for trick-or-treating. The psychologist who once worked with the Delphi murder suspect says he confessed to the crime several times. Donnie Burgess reports.
Dr. Monica Walla testified that Richard Allen made several general admissions and would sometimes display bizarre and suicidal behavior, but she believed that Allen would sometimes fake his condition. But Dr. Walla also spent time in court admitting to her love of true crime, listen to Delphi podcasts, and then bring those discussions back to Allen. More confessions expected for Day 12 in Delphi. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You already know USA Track and Field is going to be setting up shop in the new athletic complex yet to be built at IU Indy. Well, USATF saying that they are now bringing the U.S. Paralympic Track and Field organization under its umbrella. The two had previously operated as separate entities. Daylight saving time comes to an end soon, and if you're not a fan, well, State Rep Jerry Torr says it's not a simple thing to legislate.
And by the way, the state cannot dictate the time zone. That's the U.S. Department of Transportation.
You're setting your clocks back an hour on Sunday. A career night for Benedict Mathurin.
Center of the floor, a 3 over Tatum, and Mathurin cannot be denied.
30 points for him, leading the Indiana Pacers over the Boston Celtics last night, 135 to 132. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Kurt, west side, northbound 465 before Washington Street. It is a fatal crash. It blocks 3 right lanes, stopping traffic back to I-74, delay time of 37 minutes. After Washington Street on northbound 465, another crash blocking the right shoulder. Eastbound Raymond Street closed at Sloan. That's before Emerson Avenue, closed because of a crash involving a pedestrian. Then westbound 70 closed, Hendricks County, before State Road 267. That's because of a crash. It started with a car versus a deer. Right now, traffic is stopped for a couple of miles. I'm using Ronald Reagan Parkway to begin my reroute. Traffic sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone. I'm Matt Bear on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Stevenson Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer in Mooresville.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center. You got showers midday today. They're moving through now, actually. 73 the high this afternoon. A low of 42 overnight. We dry out tomorrow, though, and much cooler. A high of 59. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. 6 minutes after 9 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And just in time last night, a new Halloween costume dropped. It's the Trump Garbage Man. Package includes orange safety vest, Making America Great Again, a red tie, and work gloves. This, of course, after Donald Trump got himself on a trash truck right before his pep rally in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, is it my turn to talk? Sorry, I was...
what are you doing?
Well, no, I was just busy. I was just posting on social media about what a moron that Walter guy is and how he can't stay off the social media. Maybe we'll get to that again here in a little bit. But anyway, yes, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. And Donald Trump, once again, has taken a predicament that could be chicken you-know-what and has turned it into chicken salad. And there's no way Joe Biden is not actively working against Kamala Harris because, boy, did he totally bail Trump out. And now nobody's talking about the comedian. Nobody's talking about Puerto Rico. Everybody's talking about how Joe Biden, the sitting president, called half the country garbage.
Yep. And so what did he do? Well, wait a minute, Rob. Didn't we call that on this very program? We said, you know what he's going to do? He's going to go get in a garbage truck. That's what he should do. And that's exactly what he did. Brand new. It looked like a brand new garbage truck, by the way.
Oh, probably totally was. But I mean, he's around like, don't we know some guy that's in garbage? I was in New York for years, and they found some guy, and it's just brilliant. And then he wears the vest to the rally afterwards. And, I mean, look. We're going to know here in, 5 days? Is that right? Let's see. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 6 days if you count today. You're going to know in 6 days whether this was the best campaign in American history or the worst, because there's never been one like it. It's been the most unorthodox campaign ever run in the history of this country by a mainstream candidate. And he just always finds a way to pull himself up when you think he's... that's it. It's all over. He's done for. He just finds a way to come out of it smelling like a bed of roses.
Well, you said unorthodox campaign. Let's think about this. Go all the way back to the mugshot. And then you had the photo from Fight, Fight, Fight. And then you have him working at McDonald's and throw in the RFK picture in there as well. And then now you've got him in the orange vest and in the garbage truck. So it's working for him, and it's resonating with voters.
Well, okay, so there's two ways to look at this campaign. and Carl and I have debated this at length, and you and I have had these conversations at length, which is there were many of us who said, look, if you just get someone who comes off as normal without the drama and has the ability to give you all the policies that we liked about Trump while turning the temperature down, you're probably going to have a better chance of easily winning the electorate this time because people are sick of Biden. You know, in our mind, that was Ron DeSantis. And we said, you can go with Trump, and yeah, you're going to have tons of super passionate people, but you're gonna have all sorts of wrenches thrown into the process that you're not going to have in a traditional, hey, do you like the condition of the country? If it's Ron DeSantis, the argument becomes, do you like the condition of the country? Here's what I did in Florida. Would you like the rest of America to look more like Florida? Now vote accordingly. With Trump, you don't have that because there's so many, everything is baked in with him. You either like him or you don't. And as we said, the lift becomes heavier because of so many people that are prone to just be turned off by his personality. However, with that, there was a saying by people who saw Babe Ruth play in the 1920s that watching Babe Ruth strike out was a better experience than watching some other guy hit a home run. And what they meant by that, it was so entertaining. Mm-hmm. Whatever Babe Ruth did, you couldn't stop watching him do it. And so if you walked away that he went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, you still saw the most entertaining person on the planet do something 4 times, even if it wasn't great. And it's the same thing with Trump. There's no way Ron DeSantis pulls off the garbage truck thing, right? There's no way he pulls it out. It's not in his DNA. It's not how he's.
It's not his personality.
Right. So you take it's like the Peter Griffin thing. You take the good, you take the bad, you take the rest, and there you have my opening statement. Mm-hmm. With Trump, if it works, you're going to say, wow, that was brilliant. And if he ends up not being the president, then you go, well, see, we told you so, right? I genuinely have no idea how it's going to go. None. Well,
I thought it was really interesting when
Do you
know which way it's going to go?
Yeah. Do you have a feeling?
Absolutely not. I don't know which way it's going to go. I have a feeling there are definitely certain areas in Pennsylvania that are going to go for Trump. I mean, if you visit the state and you drive through the state, visually everything you see is Trump, Trump, Trump.
So the question will be, and the election will ultimately be decided, did Trump bring more new people into the process than he alienated from the process? Mm. Because if you had a rank-and-file Republican, I'm not saying a liberal Republican, I'm not saying, the Nikki Haley type of people. I'm saying if you had a traditional, normal conservative, a Tim Scott, a Ron DeSantis, the election would have been about the last 4 years, and do you like the last 4 years? And if not, here is my vision for a new America going forward, and then you vote accordingly, right? I mean, there's no personality alienation. There's some people who are going to hate Ron DeSantis because he's conservative, or Tim Scott because he's conservative, but by and large, it would be the more traditional, how has the country been going? How do you want it to go going forward? Everybody kind of votes accordingly. With Trump, there's so much emotion that's brought into the process. There's so much, it's so personality driven. There's so many people who hate Trump and they don't even know why they hate him. They don't like him, right?
Well, he's a very polarizing figure.
Right. So ultimately, you won't know whether the Republican Party made the correct decision until, well, I guess 5, 6, 7 days after the election, and whenever we get done counting the ballots in Pennsylvania and Nevada and Michigan, and I don't know. I mean, I look every day. I feel like I change my opinion on how the election's going to go, because one of the things you're up against, and you're seeing this in places like Michigan, where they're catching these serious voting abnormalities, irregularities, whatever you want to call them, is you're up against a Democrat machine in these states.
Right.
You're up against a machine where the not only the governor, but probably more important, the Secretary of State, who's in charge of counting the votes, are Democrats. So how do you overcome all that? Maybe you did need a Trump. Maybe you did need somebody like Trump to overcome all of that. I don't know.
The one thing that I noticed yesterday when he was doing his rally in Green Bay was he was telling the audience that he was wearing the vest and that he wanted to take it off. He was telling the story. He wanted to take it off and put on his jacket, and he was, no, I'm not going to wear the orange vest on stage. And then his staff said, no, it makes you look thinner. And he's, oh, well, if that's the case. And he gave all of the credit to his staff. He was very humble about it. But and it was it was a behind-the-scenes look at what was going on. You would never hear that honesty, I feel like, from the Harris campaign, where she would never come out and say, well, my staff told me to wear this because of this reason. He was honest about it. You felt like that's truly him. That's genuine. And with her, everything is scripted.
Well, sure, but you wouldn't get that with any of those other people. Any of those Republicans that were running against Donald Trump in a primary. None of them you wouldn't get that from. And there is no doubt that Donald Trump brings all sorts of people into the process who otherwise would not be voting for a Republican this time. The question is the balancing act. And I do feel like a little bit, I struggle with this because on one hand, I've made the case, and it was even backed up by Abdul of all people yesterday. Did you notice this yesterday, that even Abdul admitted Micah Beckwith has been a help to Mike Braun? Did you hear that yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Even Abdul has now finally admitted, as we're getting inside of a week before Election Day, and we're starting to see who's voting and how they're voting, that I have said from the beginning that Micah Beckwith was going to be a huge help to Mike Braun because the people who are going to vote Republican, they don't, Micah Beckwith believes there's a problem with immigration in this country? What? That's not going to cost Mike Braun any votes. Micah Beckwith believes that we shouldn't have sexualized content in the children's section at the library? What? That's not going to cost any Republican votes. Oh, you mean Micah Beckwith believes men shouldn't be playing women's sports? What? None of that is going to hurt Mike Braun. The media desperately wants it to hurt Mike Braun. But it's not going to hurt Mike Braun. And what Micah Beckwith did, and even Abdul admitted, I don't know if he meant to admit it, but then we asked him again, and he goes, yes, so I assume he knew what he was saying of sound mind, was that Micah Beckwith brought a lot of people back into the Republican Party who otherwise would not have voted Republican. And when the votes are counted on Election Day, Mike Braun's going to be the next governor, and Micah Beckwith's going to be the lieutenant governor. The question is by how much. We'll see what that final total is. But maybe the same thing is true with Trump, right? Like maybe this is what I struggle with, because if I'm going to say that about Micah Beckwith, and it's right, well, then maybe Donald Trump is the only Republican who could have won. Maybe we were all wrong about the idea that if you just had a normal mainstream Republican, that person wouldn't have won. Maybe you did need the guy who could get the Antonio Browns and Hulk Hogan's and Dana Whites and Joe Rogan's and Theo Vaughn's and all of. I assume Theo Vaughn is voting for Donald Trump. He seemed very friendly to him.
Right, he was very enamored with him.
Kev is nodding, so okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Ron DeSantis couldn't have got any of that pocket of people. The Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard's. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
All right. Well, here is Donald Trump when he's taking the stage in Green Bay, Wisconsin, wearing his trash truck safety vest.
This week, Kamala has been comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. And now, speaking on a call for her campaign last night, crooked Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. No way. No way. And they actually mean it, even though, without question, my supporters are far higher quality than Crooked Joe or Lion Kamala. Higher quality. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. That's true.
I love this morning the fact-checking that's been going on. This was a stage photo op. He refers to it as his garbage truck. He doesn't actually own it. He's not an actual sanitation engineer. He doesn't have his CDL license. No kidding. Oh, no. He even said at the rally that he was only in the truck for like 20 minutes.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, can we talk about the Kamala's response to this? That she tried to say that she doesn't actually think we're garbage, and I thought her response, given the 4 years of Biden and her
there's no space between them.
Is complicitness a word? Is that a word? Did I invent a word?
Sure.
Her lack of objection to the 4 years of Biden. Let's break that down, shall we?
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Galloway for a three. Throws it up and in, and a foul. For a three, yes.
Mike Goodson has an exciting roster of veterans, transfers, and freshmen. The exhibition moves home as the Marion Knights come to Assembly Hall tomorrow.
Throws it up, got it!
John Herrick has the pregame at 6. Don Fisher with the tip at 7. on your home for IU basketball. 93 WIBC.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Looking for a fun, friendly alternative to spooky neighborhood trick-or-treating? Join us for Trunk or Treat. At Life Church, we're creating a safe, welcoming space for families. Enjoy a night filled with decorated trunks, tasty treats, games, and community fun, all without the fright. Dress up in your favorite costumes and make lasting memories with friends and neighbors in a cheerful atmosphere. This year, skip the scary and join us for a night of laughter and joy instead. Go to lifechurchin.com for times and locations.
It's the Turn Back the Time sale only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Pre-pandemic prices. It's not going to happen again, and the sale has been extended to Monday, November 4th.
They still have free delivery and setup if you live within 75 miles of their store in Columbus. And no other store comes close to their prices. Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, and mattresses from Tempur-Pedic. Interest-free financing is available. ThompsonFurniture.net. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
For all your home's heating, plumbing, and drain needs, remember the man for all seasons. Chapman. Furnace tune-ups right now, only $89. Schedule online today at chapmanheating.com. That's chapmanheating.com.
Hi, this is Richard Stevenson, reminding you we give free second opinions. Call us at 317-557-8532.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling is your independent American Standard air dealer.
The New York Post cover says Trump takes out trash with a picture of him, and then the other day they had a picture of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and it said dumpster fire. And Kamala Harris did make a statement regarding what Joe Biden said, and here it is.
Have you spoken to President Biden since his comment last night about garbage?
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear, I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not.
She's a uniter now, Casey.
Of course she is. But it was the right thing for her to say, that she doesn't agree with what he said, and she believes that she's going to represent everybody. However, it's not what she's been saying. There's been no space between them, right?
I would have way more respect for this woman if she would just come out and go, yeah, he's right on. You people suck. I mean, because how could she believe anything different after the 4 years of everything Biden has said were fascist? He had a whole address to the nation about how Trump supporters, MAGA, were fascists. She said nothing. Weirdly, calling me garbage is less offensive than calling me a fascist. That's weirdly less offensive. I mean, just a week ago, everybody in Market Square Arena, Madison Square Garden, were a bunch of Nazis and Hitlers. She didn't say anything about that then. I have a very hard time believing that a woman who sat quiet as Trump and his supporters were called Nazis and fascists and threats to democracy and insurrectionists and fill in your favorite phrase over the past 4 years, the phrase du jour of the moment the past 4 years, all of a sudden doesn't think I'm garbage. I have a really hard time believing that, Casey.
So you're saying that this is just more scripting from her. She's memorized her lines and this is it.
I'm saying I would have infinitely more respect for these people if they would just come out and go, here's what I believe. And I think if you vote for Donald Trump, yeah, you're a sack of crap.
Well, wasn't it just last week she went in front of her house, in front of the vice president's seal, and said all of those things, and now a week later she's changing her mind?
I mean, I don't understand. Well, I do understand, because these people, by their DNA, are disingenuous. They don't even know what the real them is anymore. I mean, in a weird way, remember when Hulk Hogan gave that speech at the convention, and I told you, I said, the most impressive thing to me is when he admitted his name was not Hulk Hogan, because I wasn't sure if Hulk Hogan, he's become, like, the wrestlers, especially guys like Hulk Hogan, like, they morph into that character, like, they become that. I didn't even know Hulk Hogan didn't know his name was not Hulk Hogan anymore. And I said that was the most impressive thing to me, is when he dropped the act for a minute and was like, my name is Terry Bollea, I'm an American.
He's being real.
Right. I don't think many of these politicians, just like the wrestlers, even know what they are anymore. I don't think they've been so disingenuous. They've been so hypocritical. They've been such a bunch of big fat frauds and phonies for so long. I don't even think they know that they are real people anymore, what they really believe or what they once believed, because they become whatever they need to be in whatever room they're in order to try to get you to vote for them. And so for Kamala Harris, who has allowed Joe Biden to say all these hyper-offensive things, who said nothing when Hillary Clinton said her things, who said nothing when Barack Obama said his things. I mean, it's just one president or candidate for president after another saying super offensive things about Republican voters, that all of a sudden she's like, well, garbage is where I draw the line. I don't think you're garbage. I mean, sure, I didn't say anything when it was fascist or dictator or insurrectionist or threat to democracy or Nazi, but garbage, whoo, that's where I draw the line.
I wonder if she'd like to be asked the question again about if she would do anything different. But during the administration, and no, I wouldn't have changed anything. But now, how about now?
But these Democrats are almost all the same. Look at what the focal point we have made of this show over the past several days. This goofy Walter guy who's in a statewide TV ad for Jennifer McCormick, who has made the extremism of the supposed extremism, right, of Micah Beckwith and Mike Braun. That is her center thing. These people are too extreme to run. And then she trots this guy out. And then you realize take 7 seconds to look at his social media, and Alex Jones is telling this guy to calm it down. That's how far right he is. And he also has no idea what the policies are, because his policies, a bunch of them, abortion, which he's ripping on Braun on, align totally up with Indiana's abortion law, which Mike Braun supports. So not only is he completely disingenuous, he's a total idiot. But Jennifer McCormick trots this guy out, and it's okay. Why? Because he supports her. These people Jennifer McCormick has no core convictions whatsoever. She has no idea what her actual beliefs are anymore, because she's told so many people so many different things based on whatever room she's in. These politicians are the problem. That's why people like Donald Trump. It's why people like Donald Trump, Casey, because he's a real dude. It's why people like Micah Beckwith.
That's what I said. He seemed like he was genuine. He told the full story. I didn't want to wear the orange vest, and they were like, no, just do it. Okay. He admitted he was only in the truck for 20 minutes. He was saying, this is a photo op. We're poking fun. Kamala Harris would never have done that. She would have never admitted that this was all just, a troll. She wouldn't have done that. She would have wanted you to believe that this was all real.
It's why people like Micah, too, because he doesn't change. Tony today was like, I don't think that interview with me went very well. No, it went fine. Because there are a lot of Republicans who do sit in ivory towers, who do look down on conservatives. They don't want people like Micah in public office. The interview went fine. But the thing is, Micah never changes. Micah doesn't change based on what room he's in. Donald Trump doesn't change based on what room he's in. People are sick of the disingenuous, phony, baloney bullcrap, and they're ready for something else.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Indiana has nearly 2,800 pig farmers and ranks 5th in the country in pork production. Hoosier pig farmers are raising some of the finest pork in the nation. October is National Pork Month. From family farms to innovative operations, Indiana's pig farmers are committed to quality and sustainability, all while providing your family pork that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals that are good for you. So the next time you're at the grocery store or your favorite restaurant, make pork your choice and celebrate Indiana pig farmers.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Lots of trash talk. Showers moving through on radar. 67 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Former President Trump clapping back at President Biden last night.
250 million Americans are not garbage.
Referring to Biden's comments recently in which he appeared to call Trump supporters garbage. That revolving around comments made by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe in which he called Puerto Rico a garbage country at a Trump rally. The White House says Biden was not referring to all Trump supporters when he said that. A new leader of Hezbollah may be open to ending the fighting between Israel and Lebanon.
On Wednesday, the new leader of Hezbollah, Naim Qassem, spoke for the first time since being appointed to Secretary General. Now, Qassem said he would continue fighting Israel, but he did appear open to a possible ceasefire agreement under the right conditions. With the war ongoing, we know that diplomatic efforts are continuing to end the exchanges of fire along the northern front.
Fox's Trey Yanks. The Los Angeles Dodgers are World Series champions. They beat the Yankees 7-6 in Game 5 Wednesday to claim the title. Freddie Freeman named the series MVP, hitting 4 home runs and batting in 12 more. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. It is another bad start to the day. The Dow is off 237 points at the opening bell to 42,126. The NASDAQ down 147 to 20,387. And the S&P 500 is down 39 to 5,812. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Jennifer McCormick couldn't name a single thing she disagreed with Hillary Clinton on. That's because, just like Hillary, McCormick backed failed liberal policies. She endorsed Bidenomics, said she'd be honored to serve in Biden's administration. She opposed school choice, and she even supports biological boys playing girls' sports.
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
I did vote for Hillary Clinton. She had some great, world foreign policy experience. So, I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
It gets worse. Here's what Jennifer McCormick says about Donald Trump.
I cannot get behind that. Never voted for Trump, never will vote for Trump, never was behind Trump, never will be behind Trump. I just cannot get behind a party who is behind that type of leadership. To me, it's nonsensical.
Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid?
At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When I set out to build our firm, it was built for greatness. It was built for you. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. If you or anyone in your family has been injured, call America's largest injury law firm. Call Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Mike loves the fall in Indy, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
The thing about Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So Taylor Swift is performing 3 sold-out shows at Lucas Oil Stadium, and the first one starts tomorrow. Expected attendance up to 175,000 people downtown each night. Total visitors in the area expected to exceed 200,000. Approximately 81% of the attendees are from outside the area, and that's going to pose some navigation challenges. Have you noticed traffic has picked up a little?
Well, first of all, hey, are you doing like a Halloween theme today? Is that what you're doing with the bumper music?
That's what I'm going for.
I caught that.
Do you appreciate that?
Well, do whatever you want. You're in charge of the bumper music. I just to let you know I was paying attention. I caught on to that. So doesn't like every radio show do that?
Yeah.
Are you going to do Monster Mash at some point?
Yeah, I probably should.
Ghostbusters.
And Werewolves of London.
Oh, perfect. There you go. And then you'll probably do the Halloween theme in there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got it covered.
Okay, perfect. I just want to let you know I was paying attention. So
I
it was not going
it.
I'm not a fan. I'm not an unfan. I just wanted you to know I was paying attention to what you were doing.
Oingo Boingo always was on that list. Oingo Boingo. Yeah.
I'll add that to the mix.
Okay. Cool.
Is that Weird Science?
Yeah.
Thank you. I experienced the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what we're talking about
T Swift.
Taylor Swift. Okay, so basically my life is going to be inconvenient, so a bunch of people who don't live here can come and overtake the city for a couple days.
Yeah, and experience
basically what this boils down to, right?
Lots of different road closures and police out in full force to make sure that everyone is safe. Monument Circle, all 4 spokes are going to be closed. And Spark on the Circle, I know that's your favorite thing.
I love Spark on the Circle.
It's going to be a public art installation.
Oh, of course, right? Now, here's the one thing Hogsett will do. He will, then that means all the vagrants and the panhandlers and the drugged out zombie guys, they're going to be off Monument Circle.
Correct.
So it actually, you could make a case that Taylor Swift is doing the work that Joe Hogsett will not normally do, which is to clean up the city and get rid of the garbage. I said garbage. Yeah, if you're a panhandler, you are garbage, and I'll own it. I'm not backtracking it. Like if your life centers around badgering other people for money, and then you get in your car and go home at the end of the day, which a bunch of those panhandlers do, you are garbage, and I'll own that.
You're going to see some increased police presence in various ways, not only in car, but on foot, horseback, ATVs, and drones.
Oh.
Drones even.
So, hey, when the city when the city was burning and the people were storming Monument Circle and defacing Monument Circle and throwing bricks through buildings, and people were dying and businesses were being looted. We better hold off on the police. But hey, Taylor Swift is here. You people better be out in full force.
Yep. They also say there's going to be strict enforcement on parking restrictions, and vehicles in no parking areas are going to be towed. So if you're new to town, pay attention to the signs, but we're going to make it very pretty and safe for you.
Malik Mohammed.
You're welcome.
Malik Mohammed and his palskis leading an angry mob to the governor's mansion on foot. Hey, wait off, police. Let's see where this one goes. I'm kind of interested what's going to happen here. But hey, Taylor Swift's coming to town. We are not messing around.
Right. Now, I know that you were probably going to do this. You had this on your list, Rob, but I have to tell you, you're not allowed to tailgate outside Lucas Oil Stadium.
No, no kidding.
It's not permitted. So
now my question is...
So don't call me to come get you when you've gotten in trouble for trying to do that.
I can assure you I will be nowhere near the greater downtown Indianapolis area over the next 3 days other than to come to work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had my druthers, I tried to take it off, but then they were like, because I've got all these days I got to take off, which I got to get that figured out this weekend.
Yeah.
But I tried to take Friday off, and they're like, it's the Friday before an election.
So maybe you shouldn't do that. I'm curious if on...
You tell me to take these days, and I try to take them, and you guys are like, any day but that day.
Not that day. I'm wondering if Monday, November 4th, the Taylor Swift sign on the JW Marriott will be down. And what will it be replaced with?
Well, real quick before I get to that,
Joe
isn't
Flacco?
that amazing that they were like, they sent out those emails, you people better schedule your days off because you're not just taking every day off in December like you did last year. Okay, like Friday, November the 1st. That's the Friday before the election.
Except for that day. Not that.
So I really don't have a choice.
You just can't make anybody
no,
happy.
I can't make anybody happy. Yeah, that's the fact that they did that is unnerving to me. Am I in the vast minority?
What, the Taylor Swift
right
picture
that
on
it's
the
like
hotel?
some sort of like statue erected to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, lady, like this woman is not, she's not Billy Graham out there or Mother Teresa feeding the hungry. They act as though she's doing some sort of charitable work here. No, she's going to make $1 gajillion off this. Isn't the use of Lucas Oil Stadium for your throngs of gullible, unsuspecting followers so that you can make massive amounts of money that normal people could never dream of? Aren't we doing enough for you? I mean, the fact that they took down people that are actually contributing day in and day out to the city, that are like a focal point week in and week out. Because I assure you, once Taylor Swift leaves Indianapolis, at no point going further forward in her existence will she be like, man, I wish I was still in Indianapolis. That was a great place. I think I'll set up some residency there. No, she's going to milk the city for everything she can, and then she's out of here.
I wonder if that was part of the deal. Like, okay, I'll come to Indianapolis, but you have to erect this massive picture of me on your largest hotel.
I mean, they took down the Colts, guys.
So here's the real question, Rob. Will the roof be open at any point at Lucas Oil Stadium? You know, if she were to say, in part of her show, let's open the roof.
Oh, they do it in real time?
It would work.
They would stop the concert and if they got to do it by hand, if they got to lose...
Jamerse would be up there with a wrench.
If they got to lose 5 construction workers, yeah, okay, some guys perished in the process, but Taylor was happy. They would do it.
I know they
And it's nuts, Casey. It is nuts. By the way, what is Carl doing? He looks like some sort of like, I don't know.
He's in his Halloween costume.
I don't even know
Lone Star Carl.
Is he supposed to be?
He's a cowboy.
Is he supposed to be a young Sam? What's the Sam guy that everybody likes? The cowboy guy. What's his name? Carl. Who are you? Carl. Who are you? Carl is Tony's producer. Who are you supposed to be?
I'm a Texan.
What's the Sam guy's name that all the women
Yosemite
like?
Sam?
No, the guy. He's always in all the westerns, and he's always the older guy. Sam
Jones?
Sam Elliott?
Sam Elliott. Thank you. I thought maybe you're supposed to be like a young Sam Elliott. What are you supposed to be? Is it just a Texan period?
I'm Lone Star Carl. You might have seen me on social media.
Well,
I go to Buc-ee's every day.
I wouldn't have even brought you in here if I'd have known that's where this was going. It's time to go to a break. Good to see you, Carl.
You're listening to Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Well, the world turns on as we prepare for the U.S. election, with the Middle East getting, you guessed it, just a little more spicy. We'll talk about it. The Tony Kinnett Cast here at 7 p.m. or the podcast anytime.
Have you heard about this guy, Donald Rainwater?
I sure have. Guy was a deadbeat dad. Total loser. Not only did Rainwater repeatedly fail to pay his child support, he filed for bankruptcy and had his car repossessed. But what did a court find he spent the money on? Cigarettes.
Hasn't he run for office twice before and lost each time?
Sure has. Maybe that's why he wants the job, so taxpayers pay off all his debts.
But there's someone even worse than Rainwater. This Jennifer McCormick character is a really out there liberal.
Yeah, she's a pro-Biden and pro-Kamala liberal. She opposed school choice, she supports boys in the girls' locker room, and did you hear what she said about Hillary Clinton?
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
She had some great, world foreign experience. So I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
Jennifer McCormick, she's hopelessly liberal.
I'm not voting for Rainwater or McCormick. They're both losers in my book.
Paid for by Indiana Republican State Committee, Inc.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-0198. That's 800-291-0198. 800-291-0198.
This November, Indianapolis will play host to one of the most prestigious culinary competitions in the world, the World Food Championships. From November 8th through the 12th, the city will welcome over 300 cooking teams, battling in 12 unique food categories.
All of this is going down at the Indiana Farm Bureau Fall Creek Pavilion. It's inside the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Food samples, cooking demonstrations, celebrity chef appearances, family fun zone, and more. To learn more or buy tickets, visit worldfoodchampionships.com.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You knew when you did that topic, you knew it was going to piss me off. You did it deliberately,
I'm
and now I
sorry.
can't let it go.
Well, it's a local event. It's happening. There's people coming.
It is, but you know how I feel about the whole thing, and you're like, I'm going to do this just to make him mad, and now I know he won't be able to let it go, and I'm going to ruin his whole day. I know you did it. You're too good of a broadcaster, and we worked together too long, and you knew what you were doing when you did it, and now I'm pissed off, and now I can't let it go, and now I got a scenario to play out here for you, but how ridiculous this whole Taylor Swift thing is. I think it's the thing on the Marriott that's done me in. I think that
It's
has
the banner, the rap. What are we calling it?
I mean,
Klingon?
that is very, shall we say, Jezebel spirit, right?
Okay.
All right. So I think it's the thing, the photo. It does, because it doesn't like it says, "Welcome Taylor Swift fans. Hope you enjoy the city."
No, it's just her.
Whatever, right? Okay. So who is the universally most respected person in the world? Is it the Pope?
In the world?
Like if you were to say the world over, this person is universally the most respected person, and it doesn't mean you agree with them politically or whatever, but like if I were to say, who could we consensus? Is there a consensus that the Pope is the most famous, universally respected person? Now,
what about the Dalai Lama?
I don't know. The Pope's got to be ahead. There's more Catholics than right.
Yeah, true.
Okay, that's a good example.
I would say the Pope is
that's a good example.
Okay, so for argument's sake,
I would say the most famous person in the world is probably Donald Trump, but you did use the word respected.
Like I'm trying to say, because I said earlier, the thing with Taylor Swift is we're acting as though she's running some sort of charity here, as though she's doing this. Like all the money from this concert is going to go to, like if Taylor Swift came out and said, every single penny I raise will go to the flood victims in North Carolina. Okay, different ball game, right? Yeah. Or all the money that I raise is going to go to whatever, some just renowned charity, Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital or whatever. All right, now she's doing, this is like Live Aid, right? She's doing a charity concert in our city. She's bringing economic development, and I'm not taking a penny. She's not doing that.
No.
She's making gobs and gobs of money. I don't hold that against her, but I think it's a little ridiculous that someone who really, let's face it, doesn't care at all about our city, will never think about our city again until her next concert comes here, probably may not even know she's headed to Indianapolis next.
Right.
You know,
she won't know until somebody tells her she's going on stage, right?
Where am I at the next 3 days?
You're in Indianapolis.
Okay, so are we in agreement that in terms of like someone who does things, the Mother Teresa, I had used Billy Graham or Mother Teresa, the most universally respected, not in it for themselves, whether we agree with their opinion or not, could we consensus around this for the purpose of this exercise would be the Pope, right?
Okay, yep, we'll use him.
If the Pope did an event, which is not ridiculous, like the Pope comes to America at various times, and John Paul did the Pontiac Silver Dome and other play. I mean, that's not like ridiculous. If the Pope did an event at Lucas Oil Stadium, would they put a life-size, what do we call that thing? What's it called?
Oh, it's a wrap,
a banner,
a Klingon.
I mean, the length, not even life-size, like the length of the JW Marriott. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody's seen the thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like a mural or
Would
something.
there be guys out for days with the thing unraveling and ironing or whatever they do, whatever that's, by the way, those guys earn their money, right? Can you imagine being one of those guys?
Right.
I don't know how many stories the JW Marriott is, but can you imagine being the dude on top?
That's not a job for you if
hey,
you're afraid of
Larry,
heights.
you got to do the tip of Taylor's hair. Yikes. No thanks.
Right.
Anyway, would they do that for the Pope?
No, I don't think so. It was... there was 60,000 Catholics here in Indianapolis not long ago. Did they do it then? Did they put up a big...
Did they put... No, Kat.
No, they didn't, right?
Catholic... Hey, well, you're a Catholic as well. So neither one of you know. There was not some big thing of...
No,
they wouldn't do that.
No, right? I mean...
That'd be too controversial, I think.
See, this is my point. We got rid of the... Which... Hammer made a good point in the back, and I think he's going to make this case when he comes in. We got rid of Anthony Richardson off the Marriott.
Well, that's what who are they going to replace Taylor with? Are they going to put Joe Flacco up there?
Well, I'm just saying that I think we've reached a level of madness and idol worship at this point. I mean, it is creepy. Like, it is creepy to me that when I drive into this city, there is this giant thing of her towering over me, like some sort of... I don't even know what you'd call it. It just gives me bad vibes.
Taylor's always watching.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I expect her to start moving and talking at some point.
I'm really curious who's responsible for doing that. Like, who decides that? Does the JW Marriott decide that?
Well, it's their building.
Right?
Is it a Visit Indy thing or?
Right. That's what I'm wondering. Who's responsible for that?
Tourism?
Who picks?
Yeah.
You want to be on it, don't you?
No, because I don't think I'm that important.
You know, I'm pretty creative with the Photoshop. I'm gonna make it look like you're up there with her.
So I'm not off base here in saying that it's ridiculous that if the Pope were to come to Lucas Oil Stadium, they would not do that, but they're doing that for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that. They wouldn't do it for the Pope.
Yeah, see, I knew it. I knew it. And now, okay, I got it all out of my system. Let's just not mention her the rest of the day.
Okay.
And then I'll be fine. Thanks. I got that out of my system.
I do need a full body shot of you, though, to make this Photoshop thing happen.
Look, creeper. Whatever you do in your own private time is up to you.
At some point when
but
you walk away,
leave
I'm
that-
going to take your picture and it's going to happen.
I totally derailed that whole segment, but I was just really, really upset about that. And you knew I was going to get fired up about it, and you chose to do that segment anyway.
It's tomorrow, Rob. The concert starts tomorrow, the first one.
Are they all the same?
I don't. You're the one who has been to see her how many times?
I have been 3 times.
3 times.
And they're all, it's sort of the same exercise in bizarro behavior from mass quantities of women who believe everything is men's fault.
Was there any moment during that concert where you actually got chills?
Yeah,
and the hair stood up on your back?
Yes.
When he left.
Chills, as though I felt a demonic force in the arena. Yes, chills, Kev, as they describe, like, I don't know, in The Exorcist or whatever, where things get very cold. Yes,
That's
I did.
spooky.
I mean, look, it's a show, right? It's a show, but I just...
She's very popular, Rob.
No! Oh, boy, I almost said it. Wow, that was so close. I almost said it.
Kevin, how many times have you seen Taylor Swift in concert?
I've never seen her.
So,
No.
And
interesting. Interesting. You've never seen her. I've never seen her.
Yeah.
But
I have
somebody
been-
over
I
there
have
who's
been
very
kinda wild.
vocal
Oh, yeah.
has seen her 3 times.
And every time I went, I was like, what is happening here? What is going on? Why are you people behaving? It's way more than just, I've gone to see my favorite artist in concert. There's some
pop-up store here downtown that is selling like Taylor Swift merch and tchotchkes, friendship bracelets, candles, mugs, all of it.
You know how, like in horror movies, wasn't Halloween 3 the one where if everybody puts on the masks, they become like zombies? That was the one without Michael Myers.
Do you need pink boots?
This is what happens, and for some reason I was immune to it, so I could. And They Live. Remember They Live, where you put the glasses on and you can see what everybody else. I am Roddy Piper, and They Live at the Taylor Swift concert. I am the Roddy Piper, and They Live at the Taylor Swift concert.
I'm sorry for your luck. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hey folks, Hunter Smith here. I spent every fall from my childhood until my days in the NFL on the gridiron. Football gave me the chance to attend Notre Dame and go on to win a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts. Football also taught me life lessons about hard work and toughness. This fall looks a little different. I'm not on the field. I'm running to represent you at the State House. And I'm taking hits from opponents. Hits meant to mislead you about my values and priorities. I'm tough enough to take it, and I trust voters are smart enough to know the truth.
Hunter Smith is a husband, father, and local business owner of Wonder Tree Farm. At the State House, Hunter will work to lower property taxes without impacting priorities like public safety. The Indiana State Police Alliance and Fraternal Order of Police endorse Hunter Smith, and Hunter will always empower parents to choose the best education for their kids. Vote Hunter Smith for state representative.
Paid for by Hunter Smith for Indiana.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Coming up in 2 minutes, why you should be looking out for a different route if you're heading north on 465 near the airport. Plus, more confession talk in the Delphi murders trial and why you may be interested in how this county votes next week. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
The race for president runs through more battleground states. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 5 days before the election, both former President Trump and Vice President Harris will campaign in Nevada and Arizona, where Fox's Alicia Cunha reports.
Harris has her work cut out for her here in Arizona, which has the largest Hispanic population of the battleground states. A recent Marist poll of Arizona likely Latino voters found Trump leads Harris 53% to 46%.
But in recent days, some Latino voters were upset over a comedian calling Puerto Rico garbage at a Trump New York rally. The former president told reporters last night in Wisconsin,
I love Puerto Rico. Nobody's done more for Puerto Rico than me.
The former president also climbed into a garbage truck in Green Bay, turning the trash talk around, seizing on what President Biden called his supporters. And Trump told the crowd at his rally,
and we know it's what they believe because look how they've treated you. They've treated you like garbage, frankly. They've treated you like garbage. You know what? The truth is they've treated our whole country like garbage.
President Biden and the White House say he did not mean that all Trump supporters are garbage, just that the comedian, who the president said used hateful rhetoric. Vice President Harris also rallied last night in Wisconsin and went to North Carolina and Pennsylvania.
We have an opportunity in this election to turn the page on a decade of Donald Trump trying to keep us divided and afraid of each other.
Nearly 59 million Americans have already voted early. Fox News polls show the race is a tie in Pennsylvania. Trump's up by 2 points in North Carolina. Harris up by 2 in Michigan. We got an inflation update this morning showing a slight decline in the annual rate of increase of what are called personal consumption expenditures, down to 2.1% last month. They're planning a parade in Los Angeles.
Let's go, Dodgers!
Celebrating the Dodgers World Series win, beating the New York Yankees last night. But some of the celebrating got violent in L.A. A bus was set on fire. Some stores were broken into and looted. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Better expect delays. Rain falling throughout central Indiana. 68 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. 2 people killed in a wreck on the southwest side along northbound 465. State police anticipating long delays and closures for several hours near Washington Street. They say the van involved caught fire. Rain is dampening dry conditions throughout the state today, but for trick-or-treating,
looks like things are going to start to wrap up by mid to late afternoon with at least most of the state staying dry for the trick-or-treating this evening.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service. Still, it's been dry, though. Brush fires in Monroe County, dry conditions and high winds fanning the flames in and around the North Fork State Wildlife Refuge Wednesday. They've been contained, say firefighters with the county's Fire Protection District. Confession details continued to be the theme of the day for Day 11 of the Delphi murders trial. Dr. Monica Walla acted as Richard Allen's psychologist throughout 2023. She testified Wednesday that Allen admitted to the murders several times to her. Clocks are falling back an hour this Sunday. John Herrick reports on how Hoosiers feel about it.
In a WIBC News poll, about 2/3 of Hoosiers who responded say they don't approve of the time change, saying it disrupts sleep, work, or their family life. Others who like it say they enjoy the extra evening daylight, but the majority say they want a consistent time schedule year-round. John Herrick, 93 WIBC. WIBC Mobile News.
With the election coming up, Vigo County is always one county to watch during a presidential race. That's because since 1888, voters there have picked the winning candidate in all but 3 elections. Indiana State University political science professor Matthew Bergbauer tries to explain it to Wish TV.
A good amount of the bellwether status is pure luck. Now, when it comes to this election, 2024, I expect the county to continue supporting Trump. The county supported Trump in 2016. It supported Trump in 2020.
He says Vigo County does boast a diverse political background between large rural populations and 4 college campuses. I'm Kirk Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Stevenson Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer in Mooresville.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, October 31st. It's 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. So he sat down for an extensive interview with Donald Trump, and he also sat down with J.D. Vance, and he was going to sit down with Kamala Harris, but it didn't happen. Of course, we're talking about Joe Rogan and his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. They had to scrap the plans with Kamala because, well, for one, she wanted him to travel to her, and she only wanted to do it for an hour, and he said, nope, that's not long enough. I want to have a long conversation.
Did we agree that Rogan was the good guy in that equation because A, she needs him more than he needs her, and B, he's not a journalist, he's a podcast host. Now, Kev, correct me if I'm wrong, part of the charm of the listeners for Rogan, or viewers or whatever, is the studio background and I
mean it's a part of the setup. He never travels to his guests,
right? So I think Rogan was right in that equation to say, look, lady, you need me a lot more than I need you, and I'm not, and especially you got a bad habit of not showing up on time and telling people, oh, you got 15 minutes. So why would he do that?
Yeah.
So is she using that as an excuse because she really didn't want to just go on the show?
That is correct.
She couldn't do it for 3 hours without a script. She couldn't just be a person and have a conversation.
That is correct. It's like every year my wife says she wants to go to Brown County during this time of year. And I know that if I just string it out long enough, she'll eventually find other things that she wants to do. And then she'll go, oh, man, we didn't get to go to Brown County this year. And I'll be like, yeah, you just found all those other things. I was so ready to go. And then, you just had those other things going on, and I know you wanted to go. So hopefully next year we'll get a chance to go, right? I strategically string it out till when I know she has things to do, and then be like, hey, do you want to go this Saturday? Oh, you got to go hang out with your mom. That's right. You guys are going to go shopping. Oh, dang.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Kamala Harris with Rogan.
Right. She essentially blew him off, or they blew each other off, but she's not going to be able to do that with someone like Putin or Xi Jinping or any of these other world leaders. She can't make them come to her and squeeze them in when she only has an hour.
Well, yeah. And the problem is with Biden, they were able to fake it because they could say COVID, right? Well, he's being responsible by not being out and about. He's literally saving lives. Trump's being the irresponsible one by being transparent. Well, they can't do that this time, obviously. And they hid her for as long as they could. And everybody knows. I mean, she's a moron.
Okay, well, here is Joe Rogan, and he's speaking out now about inviting her on the podcast. Kevin, boy, I'm counting on you that you were able to bleep all the swear words.
You could look at this and you say, oh, you're being a diva. But she had an opportunity to come here when she was in Texas, and I literally gave them an open invitation. I said, anytime. I said, if she's done at 10 o'clock, we'll come back here at 10 o'clock. I go, I'll do it at 9 in the morning. I'll do it at 10 p.m. I'll do it at midnight. If she's up. She wants to, drink a Red Bull and party on.
Yeah, but I think this idea that you're being a diva is silly because you're offering her the opportunity to do exactly what the other candidate did, right?
Well, she actually reached out when she found out that he was coming on. So their camp reached out to me. So I said, great, I would love to talk to her. But it was very difficult to tie it down, and they wanted to travel. And see, the thing is, like, you can't, if I go somewhere, then there's going to be other people in the room. And they want to control a lot of things, I'm sure, according to the Brett Breyer interview on Fox. Like, people were waving him off. That's a distraction. People in the room, like, my whole goal with her and with him is just talk. Just have a conversation like a human being. You find out things about people. You get a sense of them, at least, a real sense. That was it. I don't give a what we talk about. I really don't. I just want to talk to you. Who the are you?
Okay, so...
Good job, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well done.
Excellent. So this was her choice not to take advantage of some free campaign coverage.
Yeah, I think they probably said, look, there's a good chance Trump is ultimately, if there are undecideds left, especially after Trump went on Rogan and did a pretty good job, they probably said, look, you're not going to get a lot of these people anyway. The only thing you're going to do is make yourself look stupid. You know you're incapable of holding this together. You know you're incapable of having a common sense conversation that makes sense to all parties involved for any length of time. So just don't do it. We'll set up terms we know we won't agree to, and then we'll say, well, we tried.
I think the interesting part of that was he said we could talk about anything you want. And he proved that when Trump was there. I mean, Joe Rogan was asking him about his first day in the White House, and he went off on that tangent about being in the Lincoln bedroom and the little picture of Tad.
His name was Tad. Lincoln was melancholy. They didn't call it depression back then. It was melancholy. He was sad. Tad died.
But they also talked about UFOs. They talked about whales. They talked about climate. They talked about, a whole litany of things, right? What is Kamala going to talk about? She's going to get on there and she's going to try and force all of her policies in, but then she's going to talk about cooking.
Well,
and then what?
It's the equivalent of, if you looked at when you were growing up, there was always like a group of kids that were the popular kids, and they always had one friend with them who totally didn't fit in with them, and you knew he was just there because his parents were rich. Like he was the guy that whose parents could pay for everything. And it was obvious, and you knew that kid knew that. Like used to look like, I know that kid goes home at night and knows they're not actually friends with him, and he knows they're not actually friends with him. And that's Kamala, right? She knows she's a moron. She knows that she is totally in over her head and can't do this job. But she's always been promoted either because of who she was sharing a bedroom with, or the color of her skin, or her sex. I mean, that was in more ways than one, right? I mean, that's how she is elevated to the top. And now she has to put it on a full stage, right, for the world to see. And she says some of the most ridiculous word salad bull crap imaginable.
And Joe Rogan probably would have called her on that. I mean, even when Trump was doing the weave, he brought him back to the original question.
But I don't think Trump was weaving because he's dodging. I think
he was doing it because he's a storyteller.
That's what he does. Yeah. Like the guy. I'm telling you, as somebody who has interviewed the guy and talked to him in person, that is just how he does. I just think he's a scatterbrained person. I mean, like you and I talk about this all the time, how, when we do a topic, you're going to do it, you're going to make some, concise, succinct thought, and then I'm going to spend 4 to 5 minutes, go on rambling about something. That's how it works. Like I get it. I know that's exactly how it is. Like
You are the color commentator,
it
right?
is. It is, right?
I'm the straight man.
It's why, when I fill in for Tony or whatever, I can sit there and talk to myself for 3 hours. I do it all the time, right? It's not, I'm not dodging, I'm not ducking. It's like how people's minds work. It's part of the charm of our show that we have this hyper together professional woman and then this just neurotic maniac who is still struggling to come to grips with many parts of his life, right? Like, I mean, it's part of the charm of the show and why we're number one.
By the way, when I was first hired here to work with you, do you know what they called me?
What?
Our bosses?
Oh, no.
The Psycho Whisperer. But anyway,
here's the reality of this, right? And this is why Casey is the best. It is, and Casey and I had this conversation before they hired Casey. Casey and I first met on a Zoom call, and I basically told her, I said, look, I will deliver you ratings, but this is going to be very trying until you figure out how I actually operate.
Yeah.
Because I said part of the deal working here is just simply being able to manage me. And this is what Casey brings to the table that is so underappreciated is Casey knows how to manage me and keep me. That's why they don't let me go on my own, right? That's why I always have to have some sort of adult supervision.
Right.
This guy is great, but he cannot be left on his own. And Casey does that better. But it's like the same thing with Trump, right? It's why the rallies, there's so many you've been to them now. You get it. There's so many high points. And then there's a bunch of times where you're like, what?
Right.
What was he? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
But he does come back to it eventually. And Joe Rogan, I think, in this position with Kamala, would have to force her back into the original question. And here's a guy. He used to be a reporter for the White House. He now does his stuff on social media. But he was breaking down some stats of the Rogan podcast versus the Call Her Daddy podcast, which Harris was actually on.
Democrats have urged Harris to do an interview with Rogan after Trump's interview did 17 million YouTube views in less than 24 hours. And that's just the YouTube views. Imagine how many more viewers are on his primary platform, Spotify. By comparison, Kamala's appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast with Alex Cooper got a bit more than 500,000 views in the 2 weeks since it's been published.
So you're talking about 500,000 over 2 weeks versus millions in 24 hours.
Okay, and think about this too. So if you're listening to that podcast, what's it called?
Call Her Daddy.
Call Her Daddy, right? The odds of those people actually voting and those people who were going to vote are already all her voters anyway.
Right, that wasn't going to move anybody to her side.
Whereas with Rogan, and Kev, you can either refute or agree with this, the people that listen to Rogan tend to be largely in the political, I don't want to say center from standpoint, I'm not saying all their views are center, but they can be, they're disenchanted with the political apparatus as a whole, and so they can be swayed if they think somebody's going to be a rebel rouser or a come in there with a baseball bat and start knocking things over.
Yeah, I mean, I've got friends that are more left-leaning that like to listen to Rogan.
Right.
So there's just more of a mix of people.
There was more of a get.
Yeah.
There's more of a get going on Rogan than it was her going on. And remember that thing where the media just was euphoric over, oh, she went on Call Her Daddy and there's going to be, it's all over. Every woman in America is going to vote for Kamala Harris. Remember that?
Happen. Yeah, I do remember that.
Hey, by the way, I just wanted to say real quick, one of the reasons that I am the way I am, okay, I wanted to come back to that. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Is I was an only child.
Yeah.
And as an only child, a lot of time when I was younger,
you had to entertain yourself.
Well, you do. And I would invent, this sounds weird, and it's going to sound weirder than it is, but like I would invent worlds. So like when I would play in the backyard, I would have a baseball world. Like I would invent players, I would invent scenarios, I would invent all of these things where I would create an actual world. And you spend literally as a child hours talking to yourself, like you're creating these things. So it's natural that as an adult, like that's how your mind works, where you're weaving in and out of these different scenarios and things, and it's just not, your mind does not.
You know, I have an only child, right?
So you did it too.
No, I have an only child. So
no, I was going to say you have siblings. What are you talking about?
As a parent, I've been practicing this for years. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC.
Los Angeles, your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Rallied back from down 5-0 in Game 5 to beat the Yankees 7-6 in New York.
Hear the news.
You could expect some rain in the early part of the day.
Staying dry for the trick-or-treating this evening.
Another news update is minutes away.
Joe Flacco's the starting quarterback, Anthony Richardson, backing him up Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like Stevenson Heating and Cooling? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Eligible Hoosiers, listen up. Election Day is November 5th. This is a reminder from the Indiana Secretary of State. Make a plan to get to the polls and vote. Indiana's elections are safe, secure, and transparent. Go to indianavoters.com to find polling locations, volunteer to work at the polls, and more information for Election Day. Make your vote count this Election Day, November 5th. This message is brought to you by your Indiana Secretary of State.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Working in the lab late one night when
So this happened. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. ABC accidentally aired election results of Harris winning Pennsylvania by 5% with 100% of the results in. So this is something that I believe it was the local TV station, ABC in Pennsylvania did. So they were doing a test run, right? They were trying to work their graphics, and everybody is up in arms about this. This is predictive programming.
Well, right. And why would they, what was the excuse? Have they offered an excuse on why that was
No, they
put
haven't
up
said
there?
anything about it at all. No, it was during a race, during a NASCAR race.
Yeah, so it had her at 52 and Trump at 47.
Mhm.
Yeah, and was it up for a long? Does it say how long it was up for? Obviously, I've seen the screenshot of
Right.
it, but I don't know how long it was up for.
It blipped up there and came back down.
I mean, it could be. You know, some people pointed out, look, a local newscast in Pennsylvania probably not going to be swaying they're probably not privy to the election results yet, but. You know, maybe they were practicing for election night. What does the thing look like?
I'm sure that's what they were doing. They're testing out their graphics, especially if they had a new graphics package or it was somebody new in master control that they were training who was going to be working on election night. And this is how you do it. And it was supposed to go probably through the audition mode, but it went through the program mode, so it made it on the air. But it does actually raise the question. If nothing else, it's fueling a lot of skepticism about the media's reliability and their trustworthiness at a time when trust in media is at an all-time low.
Right.
So
Well,
it makes people very critical about what they're doing.
You know, it is interesting, too. It rarely appears that when these accidents happen that it shows the Republican
Trump winning. Well, and that's the thing. And more than anything, I think it's probably driven people in that area who are Republicans to get out and vote because ABC is already predicting that Harris is going to win.
Well, you know, again, it's going to come down to, and this is sad that this is where we're at in this country, but due to a complete lack of any sort of institutional control in places like Pennsylvania over their voting, it's going to come down to, you know, these controversial ballots. It's going to come down to ballots probably counted after the election day. You're not going to have an election day victory declared by one side or another. There's going to be all sorts of shenanigans. I mean, it's just this is ridiculous that in this country you do not have to show an ID in order to vote. You have to show an ID to buy cigarettes. You have to show an ID to buy alcohol. You have to show an ID to get in an R-rated movie. I mean, all of these things. To rent a car. Yesterday I had to go somewhere and they said I need to see your ID for this. And, okay, fine, great. You know, I mean, like, why is it that at the grocery store or, you know, anywhere else they can ask you to show ID? But hey, I'd like to just know you are who you say you are in order to vote. Oh man, you're super racist.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday, how in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, emergency services had shut down the voting line in Doylestown. And they did that hours before they were supposed to. And many people were saying, you know, voter suppression. And this is an area of Pennsylvania that has traditionally been blue, but it is definitely turning red this time. Well, we do have an update on what happened there.
Hey everybody, this is Scott Pressler. I have breaking news. The Republican National Committee has won their court case, and due to the voter disenfranchisement yesterday at the Doylestown courthouse, we now have 3 more days of early in-person voting. Today, Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, and ending on Friday. So get out here right now and you show up in full peaceful force. You make your voices heard and request an in-person, on-demand, mail-in ballot. You have until 5 p.m. today, Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, and on Friday. Let's go.
It's interesting that they extended the days because of that.
Well, and just to remind everybody, so this is a Republican county. There were a lot of people in line waiting to vote. Some law enforcement guy just walks out there, puts a sign up and says, yeah, we're done voting today. And the people are like, okay, but hey, we're in line, right? And they're like, nope, doesn't matter, we're done. And people were saying, well, why? What is going on here? Too many people. And but the rule is, like, if you're in line, you get to vote, and this guy didn't let him, and so now the judge has said, okay, well, 3 extra days then. So good on that judge. Good for that judge.
Yeah, okay, so we had a couple big endorsements that came out yesterday.
Oh?
Well, I don't know if they were big. A couple endorsements came out yesterday.
Isn't it kind of late at this point?
To be giving an endorsement?
Isn't
Like,
it kinda
where
late?
you been? So Arnold Schwarzenegger endorsed Kamala Harris, and then you had astronaut Buzz Aldrin backing Trump.
Okay, time out. So it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Buzz Aldrin. By the way, I saw one of the Bush daughters was for Kamala Harris, too. Talk about a reason to vote for Trump if you weren't already going to. I always love the people who aren't even the thing. Like, you were just born to the thing. It's not like the Bush daughters are doing some great world leader now or something. You were born to the president.
Well, that's the closest to a Bush because they've been
right. Like, I'm
very quiet.
Like, people are like, well, you know, I was just kind of on the fence, and then one of the Bush daughters piped up. So, shoot, sign me up for that. I'm in with. Same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Was anybody sitting around on Monday like, man,
what does Arnold think?
I'm on the fence and whatever. Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a big deal anymore. When was the last time he made a movie that anybody wanted to go see? I mean. Okay, he was a crappy governor. I mean, he was an establishment Republican. Okay, so that again would make me want to vote for Trump now, knowing that and his endorsement. You know, always this thing like threat to democracy. I'm not saying he used these exact words, but it's always the same thing, right? Like unprofessional, threat to democracy, blah blah blah. It's always the same boring garbage from these people, and it turns people off.
Well, do you think it's more of a desperate attempt to cling to relevance more than anything?
You ever know?
He's sitting there going, they want to know. They want to know what I have to say.
Sure, absolutely is. But also, you notice how very little of it is about how great she is? You notice how these people are never talking about all the accomplishments that she has, all the things that she's done, all the things that she'll do. It's always about how bad Trump is. They don't have anything good to say about her.
Okay, now Buzz Aldrin, on the other hand, he said that he's backing Trump mostly because of Space Force.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Like, was any human being alive, and I don't know, is Buzz Aldrin still married? I don't know. But his closest living relative, other than his closest living relative, was any other person like, I wonder who Buzz Aldrin's voting for. Nobody get this point.
And after they announce who they're voting for, does it sway you? So it's really time to recognize that these endorsements of these people, they're not carrying the weight that they once did, and they're not swaying anybody.
And what were you waiting for? Like, maybe in August, okay, hey, you're a space guy, Buzz Aldrin. Oh my goodness, Donnie Burgess Halloween costume.
It's peanut butter jelly time.
I don't even.
He's a banana. I've done that before.
Oh, wow. Kurt Darling's next with the news.
It's Kendall Casey.
Gonna go hide under my desk.
On 93 WIBC.
Fall in India is great, but don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint, and the crew
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house and all the pillars. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and that would be the way to go.
And here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Walking back what he said, it's raining throughout the listening area, 61 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The White House is trying to clarify President Biden's recent comments in which he appears to call Trump supporters garbage.
This all started with, of course, President Biden's Zoom call with Latino voters on Tuesday night.
I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Now, Vice President Kamala Harris is distancing herself from Biden's Zoom call while she was speaking on the ellipse. Harris told reporters she strongly disagrees with any criticism of people based on who they vote for.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. North Korea says this morning's launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile was intended as a message to its rivals. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff say that the ICBM was fired from the Pyongyang area this morning and landed in the Sea of Japan. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Jennifer McCormick couldn't name a single thing she disagreed with Hillary Clinton on. That's because, just like Hillary, McCormick backed failed liberal policies. She endorsed Bidenomics, said she'd be honored to serve in Biden's administration. She opposed school choice, and she even supports biological boys playing girls' sports.
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
I did vote for Hillary Clinton. She had some great, world foreign policy experience. So, I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
It gets worse. Here's what Jennifer McCormick says about Donald Trump.
I cannot get behind that. Never voted for Trump, never will vote for Trump, never was behind Trump, never will be behind Trump. I just cannot get behind a party who is behind that type of leadership. To me, it's nonsensical.
Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends and family at Life Church. We love Life Church. They've had such a great impact on my life, on my family's life, and it's Thursday, so Sunday's right around the corner. This Sunday, maybe you're feeling called to something different. Could be a new church home or even a first church home. If that's you, check out Life Church. So many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years. I know. I meet them all the time. They're warm. They're welcoming. They love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. So give them a shot. What do you got to lose? Nothing. You got everything to gain. Life Church campuses all across central Indiana. Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens in Westfield. Starting today, it's 30% or more off all nursery items in stock. You heard me right. Container trees, shrubs, and balled and burlapped items are at least 30% off. Visit the Garden Center for even deeper discounts. Looking to decorate for Halloween and Thanksgiving? Sundown Gardens can help you there, too. Save 30% off interior fall decor inside Miss Mary's gift shop. Enjoy fall and save at Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
As a caregiver, managing your loved one's health can at times be overwhelming. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I'll share 3 tips to help you manage your loved one's medical care effectively.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Tip number 1, keep a list of all medications, dosages, and schedules to ensure your loved one is taking their medication correctly. Second, attend doctor's appointments with your loved one when you're able. And finally, stay organized by keeping forms, notes, and other important documents in one secure place. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Hi, this is Richard Stevenson. Need heating service in Johnson, Morgan, or Hendricks County? Give us a call, 317-557-8532.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling is your independent American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
The phone number, if you'd like to get involved with voicemails, 317-684-8444. And this first phone call is about garbage. Here is a garbage man with his hot take.
Yeah, this is Glenn, and I'm a fellow garbage person here. Thanks to Joe Pino, president in name only. Well, I'd be glad to see Donald Trump get a hefty win, put this in the bag, and then do some waste management in the government. Thanks, guys.
See what he did there?
I know. That's pretty creative, wasn't it? I like it.
God bless all of our actual garbage men. You guys are great.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thankless job. Mm-hmm. And I know many of them have said over the years, they've called the show, written that they listen. Without you guys, we'd be in big trouble.
It'd be piling up, wouldn't it?
Thank you to all the garbage men of the world. Whatever they're paying you, it is not enough.
Yeah. Here's another phone call, and this is from somebody who wants to tell us her thoughts on not only Micah Beckwith, but also Donald Trump.
I love your show. I'm a super fan. But this message is just kind of a personal message to you guys. But I really do hope that everybody can understand the sacrifice. I'm so glad Mike is in there and understand the sacrifices, that he is going to be facing. He is such has a passion for Jesus. I mean, he is a good man. But the sacrifices he's going to have to make and deal with is a lot. And you guys too. And I don't know if you remember me calling in and saying you guys and Casey have bigger fish to fry in the future. Well, this is part of it, of course. But although Rob got to live that moment of being a great dream to someone like Donald Trump, I just wanted to let you know that everybody that went in that building, Donald Trump seen, Casey, when you went to one of his rallies, everyone's face he's seen that face come through the building. And just to let you know, the ones that got to sit close to him was handpicked by Donald Trump. So you guys just weren't picked randomly. There's a reason why he picks who he picks. I'm getting a little rusty, so I just don't know what else. I can tell you. But I just want to let you know you guys keep up the good work, and I know it's going to get harder, but you guys will do this, and Micah, bless him, he will make the right decisions, and I can't wait till Trump is our president again so he can fix this. November can't come any sooner.
Well, it's just a few hours away for November, and I assume that she has cast her vote. Donald Trump going to be spending the evening in Arizona. He's trading trick-or-treating for a live show, which he's going to be doing with Tucker Carlson. They're going to be at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale.
It will be fun for Micah to be in there because sometimes you need a little pepper in the soup, right? He's going to make that State House very interesting. I think he will make the government better. And I think next year is going to be a much different year when it comes with the Indiana General Assembly, because I think with Mike Braun and with Micah, but obviously Braun's going to drive the agenda and he's the governor, you're going to see they're going to push these guys and girls in the General Assembly to start putting the people first again. And let's face it, the General Assembly's gotten a little lazy, a little complacent. It's been easy to do. Holcomb clearly doesn't care about the people at all, which is why everything he does is how many bright, shiny objects and how many foreign corporations can he bring to this country. And it'll be interesting to have a people-first administration in there. And quite frankly, it'll be good for us because this show, and Braun talked about it yesterday when he was on, they're going to be depending on us to help motivate you, the audience, to get on your lawmakers when they put forward their agenda the first of the year to get that passed. And so it'll be a much different world than it's been the entire time I've been here at WIBC, and that'll be fun.
Yeah. Here's another phone call. This one is about what's going on with Delphi and the Richard Allen trial.
And I think they wanted to find just to plant this case on somebody they could get because they are tired of it. They didn't want to fully investigate it. So much stuff I've listened to on this is absolutely outrageous what our judicial system is today.
Okay, so if you haven't been listening to the Hammer and Nigel show, we invite you to do that. I assume that you have been, but they've been doing some fantastic coverage with Donnie Burgess and Guy Relford. They kick off the show with it, and then again at 5 o'clock they do that. But he's right. Everything is being brought to light about how awful the investigation of this has been since day one.
Look, we've told you Doug Carter's a complete zero, and we've been telling you that for a long time. I mean, how many we went through this with the constitutional carry stuff? I mean, they botched it. The whole thing has been botched, and there's not a shred of evidence that I've seen, if I'm sitting on that jury, that convicts this guy beyond a reasonable doubt. And what's interesting is, if you listen to the people that are in the courtroom talk about, I didn't even know this, the jurors could just ask questions.
In the state of Indiana.
Like after the witness. I didn't even know that was a thing, which is super interesting. These questions, a couple of these jurors are asking, you have some hyper intelligent people. These questions they're asking about DNA and about ballistics. There's some certainly some non-dummies on that jury, and you hope that those people, if they indeed have the common sense they appear to be showing with the questions they're asking, or beyond common sense, that they can lead those other people, because wow, there's not a. And don't give me these confessions. Don't give me these confessions. If you lie, I mean, that was it the warden yesterday that testified about how they had never had a guy come over like this before, just as a I mean, everything about this is different. That judge, that awful, horrible, rotten judge, and everything she has done against this guy, that they didn't allow the defense yesterday to question I believe it was the warden, on witness credibility and the ability to impeach his credibility. I mean, my goodness, that is just ridiculous what's going on there.
Well, and we've been saying it all along, that it's like they just want to finish this. They don't care who it is, if he's innocent or guilty. They just want to be done with it so that they can wrap it up and move on. All right, one more phone call, and then Hammer's going to join us, and this one is about the price of gas.
Kendall Casey, longtime listener, but a amateur economist. Reason for low gas prices just before the election is because Biden is pumping so much of the national oil reserve into the economy to artificially oversupply to keep prices down. After the election, I predict prices will jump by 10 to 15 cents a gallon quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so I saw an article from Newsweek yesterday, and it said consumer spending leads to 2.8% economy growth, and this coming from the Commerce Department. And
which was under, this is how corrupt the media is, Casey. I know I got to get to a break. It was under what was anticipated, and the headline is robust
growth. It's fantastic, and coming from the Commerce Department as well. I don't believe anything when it comes to numbers this close to an election, just because, like that guy said, they can fudge it just to make it look good right before you go vote. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show 3:06 this afternoon. The latest on the Delphi trial, getting closer to the election, and Rob Kendall goes off the rails. 93 WIBC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
Are you ready to take control of your safety? Premier Arms is the place to consider, and they're more than just a gun store. Premier Arms is a community for empowered women dedicated to helping you find the perfect firearm. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. That's how I felt when I shopped at Premier Arms. I asked them a lot of questions, and they treated me with respect, and I know I'll be making another purchase soon. Premier Arms is in Brownsburg. They're also online at premierarms.com. Their phone number, 317-858-3030.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Bill Klontz Heating and Cooling. HVAC manager Chris Edwards says they're working hard for your business.
Our mission is to engineer an indoor comfort system that is unique to your home and personal preferences. Our highly trained technicians lead the way in customer satisfaction. Bill Klontz Heating and Cooling puts quality as the top priority.
BillKlontz.com, CLONTZ, or 317-539-4916. Bill Klontz is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, there he is. From the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel program, Jason Hammer in the studio. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. And the song Kevin's playing here, Rockwell, Somebody Watching Me.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look up one of the great favors of all time, what Michael Jackson did to appear in this song, right? Because Berry Gordy, this was like his nephew or something, right? And Berry Gordy, Mr. Motown, Michael Jackson, the biggest star on the planet at the time the song came out. Hey, Mike, would you mind doing me a favor? I know you got this whole Thriller thing going on right now, but my nephew's got like a cool Halloween song. Do you think you could just sing the hook? And from what I read, he recorded one line and they kind of just loop it.
Repeated it.
Yes.
Thanks, done.
Yeah, one of the great favors of all time, Michael Jackson helping out Rockwell there. Are you folks Halloween people? You getting into Halloween tonight, Casey?
No, not really.
Just passing out candy, or are you like the old broad that turns off her lights and get off my lawn?
We've got the big bag of candy just in case.
Okay. Rob is the little one. Probably still too little to go out.
Too little. No, not.
You're not even going to have her be a pumpkin?
No, I was never. I mean, I guess I went trick-or-treating as a kid. It seems kind of dangerous now.
Yeah, but it's fun though, man. Like
the trunk or treat. I would be open to, like, the church has trunk or treat. I would do that next year where I know who the people are.
Like, I love it because we get it home and I turn the scary music on and we have like all the decorations and stuff. It's cool, I think, seeing all the kiddos out in the streets, you know, doing good stuff.
I will say this: I did a couple years ago get into Halloween when Dr. Bach's gynecologist was finger wagging at us about not handing out candy in person.
Yes.
First, then she went to her kid's wedding without a mask.
So that was protest Halloween.
And they said you should just leave it out on the porch. So I put a sign out on the candy and said, "Kids, if your parents are Trump or Rainwater voters, take 2 pieces. If they're Biden Holcomb voters, take 1 because they're going to take half your stuff." And I said, if you don't get it, that your parents will explain it to you. And hearing the people with the parents behind there as the kids would be reading the sign, the parents would come up and I would stand next to the door on the other side. I would hear the commentary. That was kind of fun.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I love it. I've done a 180 on something.
Yeah?
I want to get your opinions on this. For a long time, I was like, man, if you're like 17 and you knock on my door and you're not in costume, screw you. I don't want to give you anything.
Right.
But I've done a 180 on it because I live in Indianapolis, and at least that person's not breaking into my car.
Right.
He's not mugging somebody. He's just trying to get some candy.
Right.
And chances are maybe his home life sucks. So if I can give him a candy bar, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll remember, hey, that was the house that actually gave me something. I'm not going to egg it later on.
Right, versus
so I've kind of done a 180 on that. Does that make sense here?
Absolutely. I love it.
To set the mood for some Halloween tonight, we have a classic Hammer and Nigel record song. And when we put this together, we were kind of listening to a little bit of Kid Rock, okay?
It was almost Halloween, my candy bowl was getting lean. I thought that 20 bags would somehow last.
Okay.
And I bought Chinese Snickers bars, M&M's, and even Mars. And I transferred all of them straight to my ass.
True. Very true.
And I saw it door, thinking I'd eat just one more. There's nothing wrong with just a little taste. But that was 15 pounds ago. My gut looks like Pillsbury dough. And I'm standing here in wrappers to my waist.
I eat a lot of chocolate.
And you should see my thunder thighs. They're made from Payday's new fun size. And this triple chin of mine is just plain wrong. Now I'm back here at the store, teary-eyed and buying more. 'Cause it ain't even Halloween and my candy's gone.
Yes.
It's a little problem we have at the Hammer House.
Yes, that happens at my house as well.
We buy a buttload of candy, and then like 8:30, we still have trick-or-treaters, and my wife's like, what happened to all the candy? And I got chocolate all over my face.
Nothing.
I don't know. You didn't buy enough.
Something that I saw that actually kind of bothered me. I went to visit my mom over the weekend, and she's in a senior community.
Sure.
Almost assisted living. And they had it all decked out for Halloween with the skeletons and the scary people. And I thought, is an old folks home really a place that you want to do that at?
Yeah, probably the wrong place to have that Grim Reaper decoration out there.
We got a podcast coming out today.
We do. Happy Halloween, kids. Your treat is the latest Degenerates Next Door podcast, the NFL edition.
That's right.
It drops a little bit after 1 o'clock today. I have got action tonight. I got a lot of prop bets. I've got a play on Thursday Night Football. Rob and I each have plays on the Colts game, but not the same play.
Oh, how exciting.
So think about that. And we're rolling, man. You're doing really well in the NFL. I'm doing well. So check it out this afternoon.
What do we make of Richardson Dunzo? Where are we at with that?
So we're going to talk to some of the guys from the Fan this afternoon, because it sounds like this was a case of not the fact that he was sucking, but he quit and he's kind of losing the locker room.
Yeah.
Right? He is lazy. That's what it feels like. And again, we'll talk to the Fan guys. I think Andy Sweeney is going to jump on with me this afternoon. But it sounds like the veteran guys went to the powers that be of the Colts and said, we're out here getting hit. We're playing hurt. We're coming off surgeries. And this guy, he's making like a big salary. He's not the first one here. He's not the last one to leave, and he's tapping out.
Yeah, they need Warmer to give him the fat, drunken, stupid speech. And I think that'll kind of...
Fat, drunken, stupid is no way to go through life, son.
It's coming up this afternoon.
You are going to go off the rails with us. We got a very special Halloween show. We're going to have a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, but also the best Delphi coverage in the city of Indianapolis.
Thanks, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Have you heard about this guy, Donald Rainwater?
I sure have. Guy was a deadbeat dad. Total loser. Not only did Rainwater repeatedly fail to pay his child support, he filed for bankruptcy and had his car repossessed. But what did a court find he spent the money on? Cigarettes.
Hasn't he run for office twice before and lost each time?
Sure has. Maybe that's why he wants the job, so taxpayers pay off all his debts.
But there's someone even worse than Rainwater. This Jennifer McCormick character is a really out there liberal.
Yeah, she's a pro-Biden and pro-Kamala liberal. She opposed school choice, she supports boys in the girls' locker room, and did you hear what she said about Hillary Clinton?
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
She had some great, world foreign experience, so I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
Jennifer McCormick, she's hopelessly liberal.
I'm not voting for Rainwater or McCormick. They're both losers in my book.
Paid for by Indiana Republican State Committee, Inc.
Looking for a great place to go for car care?
Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Shh. The silence you just heard? You could have used that space to reach your customers. Get your message in front of your customers. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, why the slowdown on 465 on the southwest side, plus where a family quarrel turned into a stabbing, Donnie Burgess reports, and a decision from the IHSAA about a controversial end to a football game. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Go West. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what both former President Trump and Vice President Harris will do today, going to Arizona and Nevada. But the first Trump stop of the day will be in New Mexico, which is expected to be a Harris state.
If you're wondering why they would do that, the campaign tells me Trump is courting Latino voters and looking to expand the map. Plenty of those voters in New Mexico. Next, he's going to come here to Nevada, focus on the surging cost of home ownership here in the state. He'll also likely encourage early voting, as the last state to do that in Nevada is tomorrow.
Well, that's Fox's Aisha Hasni. The former president may engage in more trash talk as he flips the script on Democrats, making an issue of a comedian at Trump's Sunday rally calling Puerto Rico garbage. This after President Biden called Trump supporters garbage, and the former president said at a rally in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
You know what? The truth is they've treated our whole country like garbage, whether they meant to or not, because they're grossly incompetent people, and they've destroyed our country.
Well, President Biden and the White House say he did not mean that all Trump supporters are garbage. He was just referring to the Trump-supporting comedian. Vice President Harris also rallied in Wisconsin last night, saying in Madison,
"We know who Donald Trump is. This is not someone who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is unstable."
Nearly 59 million people have voted early already, and there are numerous legal challenges, several in Pennsylvania. The Supreme Court's considering one of them.
The Republican Party in Pennsylvania wants the justices to block a ruling by the state Supreme Court that requires election boards to count provisional ballots submitted by voters whose mail-in ballots had already been deemed invalid for reasons like being mailed without secure envelopes. That's a requirement.
That's Fox's David Spunt. It's now 7 people dead in Israel, and rocket attacks launched by Hezbollah from Lebanon, where Israel has been hitting militants with airstrikes for weeks. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A slowdown you need to plan for. It's 60 degrees and rain all over radar. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A van caught fire on the southwest side along northbound 465. That was the result of a crash that happened in which 2 people were killed this morning. The crash happened much earlier in the morning, but the crash investigators say that you should continue to expect delays near Washington Street. Burn bans are blanketing the state. 46 counties are under a complete burn ban as dry conditions continue to prevail.
We've been under 1/10 of an inch, which if the month would have ended yesterday would have set the record for the month. It does look like we could get upwards of maybe 1/4 inch today.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service says any rain today will be gone by the late afternoon, just in time for trick-or-treating. Firefighters in Monroe County were battling a large brush fire that happened just east of Bloomington because of the dry conditions yesterday afternoon. The fires were contained by late evening, say firefighters. A fatal stabbing in Anderson may have been a family matter. Donnie Burgess reports.
It all went down Tuesday.
The Anderson police responded to a report of a stabbing that occurred in the 2500 block of East 2nd Street here in Anderson.
Public info officer Caleb McKnight says the victim was taken to Indianapolis, where he later died. Detectives believe it was 2 siblings who got into an argument and things got out of hand. A suspect is in custody. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You may be familiar with the controversial ending to a sectional football game between Danville and Brebeuf last Friday. Danville had Brebeuf stopped in overtime, but a late flag for illegal substitution was called on the Warriors when they began to celebrate on the field. That gave Brebeuf another chance, and they scored a game-winning touchdown. Well, Danville has since filed a complaint with the IHSAA. Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Well, we certainly have taken that information, reviewed the information, and we'll act in accordance with our own policies and guidelines when it comes to managing those types of situations.
Who he says ultimately the outcome of the game stands as is. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. The Christmas season. I just love it. Won't you join us this Thursday through Sunday for our Christmas open house at all of our locations? You'll find the best prices of the season on Christmas gifts, ornaments, collectibles, accents, and more. Come in and pick up your open house coupons for additional savings up to 50% off select items. You'll also want to look at Indiana's largest selection of pre-lit Christmas trees ranging from 2 to 14 foot tall. And this Thursday through Sunday, save an extra 10% off all artificial Christmas trees, already reduced 30%. And again, at our 71st and Keystone store, climb aboard the Sullivan Express train and visit Santa. Book your tickets at sullivanhardware.com. Best prices of the season this Thursday through Sunday. Sullivan Hardware and Garden, 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn in Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan, 114th and Allisonville Road in Fishers.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Stevenson Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer in Mooresville.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, October 31st, 5 minutes after 11. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and one man's trash is another man's treasure. And in the final week of the presidential election, Joe Biden's garbage gaffe shaping up to be a gift to Donald Trump. Here he was on the trash truck.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Okay, so
like you need to, that's Trump does this all the time where he's like, I'm going to explain that we talked about the thing with Lincoln, right? Lincoln had a son named Tad. He died. He was sad. He wouldn't get off it. He always feels the need to explain things to you as though you don't know. And so there he was like, how do you like my trash truck? It's in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. Really, no kidding.
It's in honor of them. He was doing a pseudo press conference there from the garbage truck. Did you see him have to climb up into the garbage truck?
There's a lot.
How he told the story. He was like, whoa, that's really high. And I can't fumble in front of all the reporters because then they'll say that he's physically not fit to do it.
So would you rather be, if you had to work a trash truck, would you rather be driver of trash truck or guy on the back of the trash truck? Because don't they team up now where one drives and the other's on the back?
Or do they take turns? I don't know. I would definitely rather be the driver. I would go get my CDL license for that.
But it would be kind of fun to be like out in the open, just clinging on the open road as that thing's blowing. Now you got to get off and get the trash, but it would be fun in between stops. Whee! Get off, more exercise.
That's true. You're just hanging on their back there.
If you are a trash person, no, if you're a trash collector for a job, I don't mean to be Joe Biden here. Like if you're a trash person, if you are a trash collector for your job, I would be fascinated to know, how do you decide who gets to drive and who gets to be on the back of the trash truck and who has to drive? Do you rock, paper, scissors? Do you switch days? Do you take turns? Does one of you go for half the day, then the other goes the other half of the day? Like, how do you divide that up?
Right. What's the split on that?
Yeah.
And which one is more fun? Which one do you like better? I feel like driving the truck maybe is for the more advanced trash collector, because they have to be able to navigate all the roadways and then start and stop and get really close to the trash cans. President Biden getting hit with a resolution in Congress condemning his garbage remarks while discussing Trump's supporters this week. So Representative John Rose, he's from Tennessee, he said that President Biden must be condemned for calling millions of Americans who support Donald Trump garbage. So what does that mean? That just means a slap on the wrist, right? They're just saying, bad Biden.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, we're the free speech people, and like the Democrats, we're not going to try to throw him in a gulag. But the real thing here is he sucked all the momentum out of Kamala's big last-second momentum push, because she once again had the media working as an arm of the Democrat Party, crying foul over this comedian that nobody cares about. And she had that big speech in Washington, D.C., and nobody's talking about it.
Right.
Nobody's talking about her speech in Washington, D.C. That's supposed to be this big close for the campaign. 75,000 people. Nobody's saying a word about it because everybody's talking about Biden calling half the country garbage.
Okay, so Trump wasn't the only one who did it. Earlier in the day, Vivek Ramaswamy went out, and I thought, oh, that was it, because I saw that Vivek was doing it first.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is their answer. Smart. Send out one of your surrogates, have him do it. But then when Trump did it, okay, there it is. But here's Vivek Ramaswamy, and he wasn't just in the truck. He was actually the guy swinging off the back with the cans, getting the cans. And this is how that went.
Pull this one back too, or you good? Sweet. It's pretty good machinery, actually. It kind of works. Should I pull it back again?
No, just pull. This goes up.
Should I pull it?
Yeah, pull it out.
Pull it out? All right, man. Let's do it. Thank you. Looks pretty good. Yes. The machinery's good. It's good machinery. I mean, it's like...
You didn't even have to use the bat once.
No, I know, exactly. Well, sometimes you might need to, actually. It's a... The machine works really well, man. All right, let's get some more.
They had a bat on the garbage truck. But it's interesting that Vivek is commenting on the machinery. Of course, Vivek, the machinery works.
Yeah, right.
They use it all the time. But then after...
Wait. Tell me. Does any of this matter? Like, at this point in an election, are you swayed? Oh, that guy called Puerto Rico garbage. Well, because they have a lot of garbage. But I'm out. Oh, wait, Biden called half the country garbage. Now I'm back in. Like, does any of this actually matter in the outcome of an election?
Is it swaying somebody who's on the fence? Is anybody on the fence at this point?
Because, see, I maintain that Hillary's email thing with Comey, I know she loves to say that cost her the election.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
She cost her the election.
Right. You're bad campaigning coach. I've never been a subscriber to that. I think, though, most of those people, that was so late in the game that people were already starting to break away from her anyway. It might have been the final push over down the hill or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually people figure out, okay, at what point do people figure out who they're gonna vote for? How far ahead of time? With some people early voting, most people just wake up that day and go, all right, I'm gonna go stand in line for 3 hours. Unless they're if you're standing in line for 3 hours, you're not undecided about anything.
Right. You're going because you feel you have to cast your vote. It more than anything, I think what it does is it solidifies confidence in how people have already voted. Like if you're voting for Trump and you knew you were going to vote for Trump and then this happens, yeah, you feel really confident in your choice after this. Because what this is doing, it's humanizing someone like Vivek Ramaswamy, somebody like Donald Trump, who's out doing this. And I think that's resonating with people. They don't want to see the script that is being delivered by politicians. They want to see them be real people.
Yeah,
they're representing real people.
It is. It's funny. I mean, it obviously shows they have senses of humor, unlike the Democrats who have no sense of humor whatsoever. I just wonder, he worked at McDonald's. He worked a trash truck. How many people does it actually sway? I'm not asking to be facetious. I'm not asking because I know the answer to this. I'm genuinely curious who gets swayed based on that.
Well, I think what it does do is it gives these people a sense of what real Americans are having to deal with. I mean, this is a real job. And thank God we do have garbage men who collect our trash, because it would pile up without them.
I'd love to know from the garbage men how they divide up the duties, though. That is very of peak interest to me on who's driving and who's working the back of the truck.
So Vivek was praising and also interviewing a garbage man at a crowd after he was done collecting the trash.
Garbage.
Horrible.
Very horrible.
Yeah.
Personally, what did that mean to you?
I felt disrespected.
If there's one thing that we can do, we're about 6 days away from being in a position to do it. Okay? If there's one thing we can do to make life better for you and people who drive garbage trucks across this country, what is that going to be for you?
Keep the prices down.
Okay. You think we can do that? We're going to do that. We promise you, man. You put us in there, we're going to get that job done. This man's been a great soldier. Give him a round of applause.
So, and that's the thing with Vivek, is after he did the stunt, he actually had a conversation with them. And what can we do to help you?
Yeah.
And his answer was keep the prices down.
Do you want to tell everybody what you did?
Oh, are you talking about the Twitter post?
You made some art. Casey.
I did.
Okay, so
you have very strong feelings about Taylor Swift and the wrap or the banner that's on the JW Marriott.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I don't care that she's here. I just think the thing around the Marriott is just totally ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And so you at Casey Daniels 317 on Twitter, you made some updates to the JW Marriott.
I did. You're there with her now. It's a picture to burn, Rob's version.
That's a Taylor Swift song?
Uh-huh.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And so it's
Don't
me.
act like you don't know.
Yes, I can assure you I had no idea.
Uh-huh.
I remember the one where the other girl was cheer captain and she was on the bleachers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The one, give me a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name.
Right. That's another one.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. You can name two.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't that the one where boys only want love if it's torture?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that it? Boy, ain't that true.
We are never, ever getting back together.
That one. There was one where she was like, my name is Taylor and I'll be your jailer. I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember some of the stupid lines in the songs thinking like people are eating this up as though it's
poetry?
It's Fire and Rain or something.
So can I just tell you the one funny thing about this? And this is all in good fun because Taylor Swift is like 5'8", 5'9".
She's the same size as me then.
I stretched,
she's taller than that, isn't she?
I stretched you just a little bit in the picture.
She's got to be taller than 5'9", because I'm 5'8".
She's pretty tall. I don't know exactly how tall. Do you know, Kevin?
She's 5'10".
5'10".
Yeah, I was gonna say she's tall. Yeah, there's no way.
But in the picture at Casey Daniels 317, you're the same size.
Wait.
You're welcome.
Daniel sent us an email and said the truck is a one-man job. No, I've definitely seen somebody driving the truck and somebody on the back of the truck.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I've definitely seen.
Hey,
these are robots. They're robots.
Maybe they've had to downsize their workforce.
No, I've definitely seen some guy driving the truck and some guy on the back of the truck. There's no way the guy's like in the truck, then getting out of the truck, then putting the garbage in the truck, then getting back in the truck. I've seen these guys operate.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You want to tell everybody who's joining us next?
Yes, Victoria Spartz, U.S. representative, is going to join us next. We'll talk a little bit about she's got an election going on. By the way, her district got much more Republican, and we've heard a lot less about her election this year because of that. But she's up for re-election. We'll talk a little bit about the national political scene, and we'll talk a little bit maybe about politics here in Indiana.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Sadly, people don't carry cash anymore. I don't carry cash. No. It's better, especially if you live in a metropolitan area, that you don't have to carry cash.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, men carry cash, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, stop it.
So how much cash do you have on you right now?
Nothing. None. No. Don't need it. I'm digital, man. Man.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coating and their transformation, like your neighbor Mike.
Well, the local company that we used first was highly recommended by people in our neighborhood. We did not know until after it didn't work on our floor. It just peeled up like a cheap suit. And so my wife says, we got to do something. And so she started looking around on the internet and she found Galaxy.
Lots of styles to choose from. 4 times stronger than epoxy and a 15-year warranty.
We got Galaxy out here. They got here at about 8 o'clock in the morning and they finished up at 6 o'clock that night. Other than having a beautiful garage floor, you couldn't tell they were here. Just did a wonderful job on it.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings works for any area like patios, garage floors, driveways, and around pools.
Still looks fantastic, and anybody that visits our house, that's all they want to talk about. I mean, they just can't believe how nice the garage floor looks.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook, GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. We are out of this world.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps. Or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Yeah, let's go to the WIBC hotline, joined by Victoria Spartz, U.S. Representative, 5th Congressional District here in Indiana. Victoria, how are you?
Good. Great joining you.
All right, so a couple of years ago, your race was one of the tightest in the country. There was millions and millions of dollars going into that race, and now it doesn't seem like we've heard a whole lot, but you are up for re-election this year.
That's right, and we have 3 opponents, so every battle makes us stronger, but I hope, we'll have a chance to govern this fall, and I hope the American people will give an opportunity for Republican Party to show what we can do. With all of the drama, I think everyone is ready for Tuesday, but I really hope we'll have successful Party Day.
Yeah, and given the current political climate, how do you see the role of bipartisanship in Congress?
Listen, it is a tough situation right now. I think the challenge is, I would argue that Democrat Party has moved so much, to the left, to extreme left. The Republican Party, most of the Republican Party probably became what Democrat Party used to be, which I have some concerns with that too. We'll have to find common ground, but I think, we also need to show that we can deal with tough issues and we can, win the hearts and minds of the American people and bring good economy, secure the border, stop the wars. I think this is going to be a big challenge, but I hope we'll grow the backbone, which I'll be honest with you, Washington, D.C. has been quite broken. The only hope I have that we have 12% approval rating in Congress, less than senile president. So American people are with us with frustration. That's hopeful for me.
Why did your district go for from them putting all that money in to try to defeat you to we haven't heard anything about it? Are they still putting the money in to try to get you out? What changed?
Well, it's a good thing that hopefully they give up on me. I had some very tough battles, so that's a good thing. A lot of tough battles. I was always kind of joking, my gosh, how many millions they had to spend to say the craziest stuff. And that's what they always do. If you someone who is willing to stand with the people, willing to challenge the status quo and not afraid of the political machine, they will put a lot of energy and efforts, to try to take you down. That's why a lot of people sit and quiet in my party too. But I think, hopefully they give up and realize that, we're going to go to win. And also, I think, I always trust in God and the people. And honest, my establishment of my party never supported me. But I had a lot of good people that trusted that I will go and fight for them, and I will never let them down.
Okay, so you had mentioned that Washington, D.C. is broken, and many people consider current Republicans Democrats from 20 years ago, more conservative Democrats from 20 years ago. So what is your vision for the future of the Republican Party?
Well, I think our party needs to, to actually put the money where mouth is. We should be the party of common sense, working class people, and really to protect the rights of ordinary Americans, not political elites. I mean, you can see how elitist the other side became. They actually bold enough. I don't think it actually was Biden misspoke, even though, I have some reservation about his capabilities. I think they truly believe that, they're superior, they're like elites, and we're all garbage. That's what they believe. This is not what our country was founded on. Our country was founded of equal rights, no matter where you came from. We're a country of immigrants. We're a country of opportunities. We're a country of rule of law, and we create lawlessness, mob rule with elites in Washington, D.C. That's what that party became. But my party also need to make sure that when we talk about free enterprise, we talk about good economy, we talk about securing the border, we talk about fixed debts and healthcare, we actually need to be not afraid to do it and show that we can get it done, which is very tough because the money are against us. So Republicans, I told them I'll be nice till November and then I'll be brutal. I'm done. If my party doesn't show what we can do, we'll have very radical socialist advanced agenda even further destroying our country.
Yeah, Victoria Spartz is our guest. I think that's the thing with people like me is we always hear it from the Republicans. Oh, the debt, the deficit, the spending, the got to control government. And then they get in there and they don't do it. And 2 years later, with you guys having the House, it seems like all the Biden stuff is still mostly getting fully funded.
Well, listen, I completely agree with you. I'm as frustrated, and I think it is my responsibility being part. I can complain about bad government as much as I want, but I'm part of it, so I better figure out how to make it better, how to make my party great again, and I'll be working on that. It is my part, but I'll be honest with you. It takes people on the ground, people like you, people actually who are willing to challenge, and put pressure even on their own party. It's much easier for me to criticize the other side and say how terrible they are and campaign and do nothing. It's much harder to come up to your own party and say, you know what, this is wrong. You're a hypocrite. You need to do what you said. That's much harder, but it will take actually the will of the American people and attention to put pressure on politicians. And that's why people like you and other people that are willing to question some of the things and put pressure have enormous impact and will be done on the ground, not in Washington, D.C.
Well, Victoria, what do you say your top priorities are for your constituents, the Hoosiers that you represent?
Well, listen, I think we have to strengthen our economy. We have to make sure that we have good growth, good energy policy, good high-paying jobs, and stop this inflation, because this is going to be destructive for the middle class, for a lot of low-income and fixed-income Americans. We need to make sure that we fix healthcare, that we have innovative healthcare. Right now, healthcare is spending so much money and is destroying some finances for families and federal government finances. And big monopolists in D.C. have billions of dollars of fraud, and we're afraid to deal with them. We need to make sure that we have secure borders, that make sure that we don't have criminal cartels running this border. So we have to strengthen country domestically, allow innovation to thrive in many industries, whether it's healthcare, education that's controlled by government. And then if we're strong domestically, then a lot of tyrants and bad countries that try to advance, around the world, be afraid of us, because strong America is a strong deterrent to any bad powers to destabilize the world.
How do you feel your campaign is going right now? In the past, the Kendall and Casey show has been critical of you. I'm curious how you feel it's going now.
Well, listen, I think, if you actually might agree with me more and like me more if we talk a little bit more on your show. So I'm very happy that you have me, and I think we have way more in common than you think, because I belong to the group of people that I'm willing to challenge my own party. And I'm not a rubber stamper that, like a lot of people in Washington, D.C., and I think you belong to the similar group, So I think it's important to have conversation, and I think it's good for you if you have questions and something and raise it, and have these discussions. If you disagree with me, listen, we're a country of discussions and ideas. I don't agree with my husband 100%. It's very hard to agree on, but I truly believe that I think the things that Republican Party trying to bring to the table right now, common sense, a good economy, good security, public safety, good education, this is very important for American people, and protection of constitutional rights. That is core foundation of our republic, and I think we have to fight for that. But I always say, I told my kids, you have to be tough. You'll have a lot of battles to fight, but we have to win for all of the people who sacrifice lives for our freedoms. And I grew up under dictatorship. I have enormous appreciation for being free American, and we need to teach our children to appreciate it more. So I think, I'm always believe everything is in the hands of God and people, and if we have this honor, then, I will do whatever it takes to make sure that my party is going to deliver.
Last question before I let you go, Victoria. So we hear a lot from the Democrats about, hey, Jennifer McCormick, she's surging, and Destiny Wells, she's surging, and we say there's no polling being released showing that. But when you're out on the ground in places like Hamilton County that are somewhat swing counties, what are you seeing? Is there this great fervor to put Democrats in charge of Indiana?
Well, I think American people are still going to look at the record and what these people stand for. They use a lot of identity politics and really brainwashing with big money and saying lies. And they have mainstream media on their side, But I hope a lot of people, including in Hamilton County, a lot of suburban mothers that want to have safety, which is not actually the case anymore, even in Hamilton County, that wants to have good education, good job, good economy. I think they're going to think twice before they're going to use these emotions and really manipulate people. So I think at the end, a lot of people will still come through. But my party needs to do a better job, reach out to some other communities, engaging with women, putting them in position also where, not just for picture op and immigrants and other constituencies. I think President Trump done a lot to engage much more diverse group of people, Hispanics and Black people, that we can do so much more for them. The Democrats been destroying and using this population. I think we need to do that. But I think at the end, I hope, American people and Hoosiers are going to, go back to common sense and understand this radical agenda is destructive. And we have a chance to govern, and I hope we'll have a good governor and lieutenant governor who could be my allies, because I could be very strong allies for them to make. I'm very competitive. I want Indiana to be the greatest state in the nation.
Well, we appreciate your time, Representative Spartz. It's Victoria Spartz joining the Kendall and Casey show. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Where are they today? I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Election Day now just 5 days away as the candidates campaign out west. Former President Trump will be holding rallies in New Mexico and Nevada before attending a hurricane relief benefit with Tucker Carlson in Arizona. Vice President Harris is set to hold rally concerts in Phoenix and Las Vegas. She will then be speaking at an event in Reno. Meanwhile, Trump's running mate J.D. Vance is speaking in North Carolina today. Rain is expected to dampen dry conditions throughout the state today, but for trick-or-treating,
looks like things are going to start to wrap up by mid to late afternoon with at least most of the state staying dry for the trick-or-treating this evening.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service. You can expect a bit more and maybe heavier rain by the weekend. Burn bans remain in place for much of the state. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at We Grow Hair Indie, and man, you can give yourself a gift this Christmas season, which is right around the corner, by the way. Yeah, today's Halloween. It'll be here before you know it. Give yourself something nice, and that could be the gift of getting your confidence back by putting more hair on the top of your head. Here's what you got to do. You got to call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free consultation with Darren and the gang. Those guys are top-notch, first class all the way. They'll take a look at what's going on the top of your head, and they'll give you some suggestions on how you might be able to make that a little bit better. I did it. I'm very happy with the results, and you can see for yourself the results of other people who made the choice to get their confidence back at We Grow Hair Indie by heading over to WeGrowHairIndie.com, WeGrowHairIndie.com, and then schedule that free consultation. Get the information. 317-522-2995, 317-522-2995. We Grow Hair Indie. Tell them Rob sent you.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Hi, this is Richard Stevenson. We service all makes and models. Call us at 317-557-8532.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling is your independent American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
There's a new survey that came out that said half of Gen Z voters, 1 in 4, have lied to people close to them about who they're voting for. And they've narrowed this down to voters age 18 to 27. Many of these people coming of age during a very polarized era in politics. And it makes me kind of curious, Kevin, is there anybody in your family that you just don't talk politics with?
Several of my relatives, I would say.
Because you don't agree, because you're on opposite sides.
Yeah, I don't want to get scolded.
What about you, Rob?
I think you know anywhere I
Yeah.
go.
Everybody
you know
knows where you stand.
You know what you're getting into. Now I will if I'm at an event, like my deal is always, if you engage it, then I'll respond to it.
Mhm.
Like when I go out places or out with friends or whatever, I don't start it.
Unless they do.
Right. And then I'll be happy to respond to it. And I'll always kind of ask, like, if it's a group setting, whoever the host is, whatever, hey, is there anyone I should avoid? Whatever. Like, I'm at somebody else's house. I don't want to make a big thing about it, but don't start none. It's just like, it's like, don't start none, won't be none type of thing, right?
This is a man on the street interview, and somebody's asking a college-aged guy who he's voting for, and he says he doesn't know, so he's not going to vote.
You're old enough to vote?
Yes.
Are you registered?
Yes.
Are you going to vote?
Probably not, no.
Why not?
Because I don't have any knowledge. I'm not going to vote on someone if I don't know what I'm voting for.
You're a college student?
Yes, I am.
Don't you do research and study all the time?
Yes, I do, but I don't keep up with everything. I don't have enough time to do every point of research to make a decision that's good for me.
Do you know when they say young people don't vote, we can't rely on that demographic, that you're probably the reason?
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not one of those people that complains about that. I understand that. I'm part of the problem because I'm not voting. I mean, I'm not voting this year, but say 4 years, I might have enough time to actually have an education on what I'm voting about.
Are you okay with whoever wins?
Yeah, I mean, who wins is, I mean,
okay.
There's more people than just me, you know.
If you had to at this point, who would you?
I mean, I can't say anyone because I don't have enough knowledge. I don't have a single person I could really say. I'm in the middle.
So I will say this: at least this guy is not voting. Good on him.
Right.
Good on him for not voting.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though. All the stuff people put time into, and they don't educate themselves on who's going to run the country,
right,
or their state, or even their city, or whatever.
And he's acting like it doesn't affect him. But to his credit, he's like, I don't know, so maybe I should stay out of it.
Going out with a bang, Kev. Well done.
It's all for you.
All right, so you're voting later today. We got to run down who
Last chance to talk me out of doing something stupid,
who
Casey.
You're voting for. We're going to talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Well, the world turns on as we prepare for the U.S. election, with the Middle East getting, you guessed it, just a little more spicy. We'll talk about it. The Tony Kinnett Cast here at 7 p.m. or the podcast anytime.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
This is a well-timed message from American Bullion, so get ready to write down an important number or to put it into your phone. Many Americans are owning gold to preserve their wealth and protect themselves from inflation, potential market crashes, and worldwide crises. Why American Bullion? Through American Bullion, you can transfer your existing IRA or roll over your old 401k into an IRA capable of holding precious metals. It's a hassle-free, tax-free process and takes just a few days to complete it. Call us today for your free gold guide and find out how easy it is to own gold and other precious metals. Protect your IRA or old 401k with our hassle-free and tax-free process. American Bullion, where we say, peace of gold, peace of mind. Call 800-456-7475. That's 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Bill Klontz Heating and Cooling. Bill has decided to take a step back and leave things to Danny and Chris, which is a good thing for customers.
When a guy runs a business for 35 years and retires, he picks the best people to do the job. And in my opinion, these guys will take care of my customers and my employees and do everything exactly like I would, and that's why I chose them.
It's the same contact info and email, BillKlontz.com, CLONTZ. Bill Klontz Heating and Cooling is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
Well, I got this guitar and I learned how to make it talk. And my car's out back if you're ready to take that.
Casey, the lines are very long for early voting.
Yeah, we've heard reports that people are standing in line for an hour and a half, 2 hours, even 3 hours in some cases.
By the way, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. I guess I'm voting today.
You've been told. You're being voluntold you're voting today no matter what.
Well, we had planned because I'd take my mom with me. My dad is like the way it works in my house is my dad just does his own thing.
Sure.
Hey, you could do something with the family. Nah, I don't have time for that.
Well, he's a completely independent grown man.
Well, so he went all the way to Danville from Brownsburg like 2 weeks ago and early voted.
Did he
And
really?
He was like, I got my vote in.
Good.
What, you weren't going to get it in anyway?
So you know what's going on with the dude is I tried to go the other day and it was still a little chilly and I wasn't dressed appropriately.
Right.
And I saw the long line and I said, well, I've got a few more days. I'll come back when I'm dressed a little bit warmer because that day it was a little cooler than it had been. And so I thought, okay, I'll go back at any time. And then I asked the dude about that and he's like, no, I'm just going to go to the firehouse on voting day. I'm going to go early in the morning.
Yeah,
because he thinks that there'll be less of a line.
Well, that's actually smart, but it's like my mom wanted to go, and I mean, my mom's still able and she can do all these things on her own. But it's like, hey, if you got to stand in line for an hour and a half, you don't want your mom standing by herself or whatever.
Sure, and she'd enjoy your company.
How could you not enjoy my company? And so I said, all right. This was like 2 weeks ago. I said, okay, to plan on around everybody's schedule, we'll go on Thursday, Halloween,
right,
the 31st.
Yeah.
And I said, my wife will take off work early. She'll come. And then the three of us will go together.
Right.
So then, all these reports are coming out everywhere. You hear about these long lines. And, of course, Brownsburg is no different. You vote at the library. The public library is the early voting location in Brownsburg. And they were like yesterday, they're like, it was a 2-hour wait or a 3-hour wait. And I told my wife, I said, well, if it's that long, why don't we just go on Election Day? We probably rearrange it. Because I've gone on Election Day several times now, and it's very fast.
Me too. Now, I was curious, is that because it was a primary and we had very low voter turnout in Indiana?
Well, yeah, but I think like a couple times I've gone on election day and it wasn't that bad. And my theory is if you just let people get it out of their system, then you got a whole day, and most of the people who are like super passionate have already gotten it out of their system, whatever. But then I said, well, if the line is long when we come home, then maybe we'll just do an election. And she's like, no, we are voting today.
She's determined. Today's the day no matter what.
So, okay, well, I guess we're voting today then.
Are you going to wear a costume in line?
Yes, I'm going to dress.
But no, really, are you taking Olivia with you?
No, she's in daycare.
Okay. So you're going to do it while she's being watched by somebody else.
Yeah, but
I didn't know if you were going to bring her into the process this young.
No, we've already told her who to vote for, though. She knows.
She knows. Okay.
But that's the thing. Now, I have this window where I have time to myself, and now I don't have that time to myself because I'm just standing in line.
No, you're doing your civic duty, your patriotic duty.
I'm going to vote.
Right. Yes.
So
you have to do it.
They actually had some early voting stats. You know who's really good about posting these early voting stats is Micah. Like every day, basically, he updates on the early voting stats. And I thought some of these early voting stats were pretty interesting. This was as of 8 a.m. this morning. And, you know, the most interesting stat to me is there's all this. So there have been 941,640 mail-in and early in-person votes as of this morning.
Correct.
And so in a state of 7 million people, I think there's like 4-ish million voters.
Eligible voters.
So that means almost like, a fourth of the people have already voted who could vote.
Yeah.
Which leads you to why it's not as crowded on election day. So many people get it out of their system. But he has these stats on all the makeup of the people who have voted. And what's fascinating to me is 56% of the people who have early voted are what you would identify as Republican primary voters.
Okay. And so that would mean what? You've got 35% of Democrat voters.
Democrat, which, if you look at the makeup of Indiana and how the elections tend to go, and the 9% is labeled as other. I still don't totally understand that because libertarians don't have primaries. So these are people maybe that don't participate in primaries, so they don't know what they are. They can't label them. But it's like, okay. So for all the huffing and puffing of the Democrats about, the governor's race this, or I saw, our old friend Destiny Wells, she's still flapping her gums about how her race might not be a double-digit defeat, which we all know it's going to be. By the way, I was thinking this yesterday. I thought, man, we're going to lose so much show content when Destiny Wells has another double-digit defeat to a bad Republican candidate again.
Oh, Rob, don't be silly. She'll run for something
else.
Well,
that's what I thought. I very quickly corrected myself and said very soon she'll find a new office to run for, and so we can laugh at her for another 2 or 4 years.
Right. We can't call her professional office hopper just yet because she's not been in office.
She's not won any of the offices.
Professional
you have to be
office runner.
Yes. Okay, so if you do the math on that, let's say it is 50. Let's say the independents or whatever split evenly between Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians. So let's you would have to then have what? That would be 10%. Like if it's 56-35 to get to even, 10% of those people, you'd have to lose the 10% of Republicans would have to vote for somebody other than the Republican candidate.
Yeah.
That's
a heavy lift.
That's not happening.
Okay, so the other interesting thing about this, as you mentioned, 56% of the early votes have been cast Republican. 55% of those have been women.
Yeah.
So they're basing, and when I say they, I mean Destiny Wells and Jennifer McCormick, that all of these women are going to turn up for them. The women are turning up, but they're still not voting for them.
Well, right. And their theory is, well, I am woman, hear me roar. But what's fascinating about this is the age breakdown where 47% of the voters are 65 and over.
Yeah, well, that's easy to explain. They're retired. They've got the time.
Yeah.
They can go stand in a 2 or 3 hour line and vote.
Is the theory it's overwhelmingly women right now because they're home?
Stay-at-home moms?
Or
perhaps
retirees, women who have outlived their husbands, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I think. And when I first saw those numbers, I thought, ooh, that's not going to be good for the Republicans because you've got the young men, who is a key demographic for Republicans, and also older men. But it doesn't seem to be working out that way when you do have 56% of voters voting Republican And 55% of them are women.
Well, we don't know, in fairness.
55% of women have voted.
Yeah, and we don't know how, just because you voted Republican primary doesn't mean you're going to vote all Republican. But I saw this same thing in Pennsylvania because the breakdown is somewhat similar in Pennsylvania about how there's more women who have early voted than men, and there's these Democrats are doing this victory lap, and that Serenovich guy, I saw the conservative commentator tweeted about this, and he's all up in arms, and people are like, dude, men vote on Election Day.
Right.
Well, and your husband's a great example of this, right?
He is an example of that. His thing is he could vote because he works from home. He could go and early vote. He just doesn't want to stand in line. He thinks it's going to be quicker when more polling locations are open on Election Day. And it's closer to the house. He doesn't want to leave the bubble. I mean, we could walk to our polling station.
Your husband is such a drama king, right? I can walk to my polling location, but I don't want to have to stand in line. So anyway, those are your early voting statistics thus far. You can do with them what you will, but we wanted to keep you up to date as I head to the polls today. So that means...
Which way are you going to vote? Let's get down to it.
Oh, yeah, I always do my ballot, right?
You asked Todd Rokita to come in.
Yeah.
And he didn't take us up on that, which is fine.
Yeah, it's his yeah, it's his right.
You've been debating on that. Do you leave it blank or do you vote for Rokita? What are you going to do?
Well, this is what I do oddly respect about Rokita is because several people reached out to him and were like, I think Rob loathes Destiny Wells so much that he's looking for a reason to support you, to find some excuse to support you.
Yeah.
And to Rokita's credit, he's just like, I don't want his support.
It doesn't matter to me. It's like, I don't need it.
And I said, we do probably need more people like that in office.
So actually, that may have swung you to vote for him.
Well, yeah,
maybe.
I think it's going to be a long. Okay, all right. So let's walk through this.
Yeah.
Let's walk through this one by one before we go.
Okay.
All right. So definitely voting for Trump. Obviously voting for Braun and Beckwith.
Yep.
I'm going to vote for Andy Horning for Senate because Jim Banks is too chicken to show up in a debate.
That's a questionable one for me. I'm debating it's either going to be Jim Banks or it's going to be blank.
You can't vote for a guy who doesn't debate.
The guy that doesn't debate and the ongoing argument that we've had with him and this radio program. So I'm really towards leaving it blank.
Yeah, if you vote for some guy who won't take 1 hour out of his day it's 20 minutes of talking content, right? Because there's 3 people up there.
Yeah.
You can't reward that.
Yeah, and I think he's going to win with or without my vote. But there's also the side of me that thinks, we definitely need that Senate seat so that
you'll be fine.
Donald Trump can go in and make the changes that he wants to make.
I'm going to vote.
You'll be fine.
I'm going to vote for, obviously, got Gordon Hayward and John Acton on my school board races there in Brownsburg. Everybody has different school board races.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards voting no on the judges.
Are you?
Just because I feel like if you've been there 12 years...
Yeah, see, I'm a little bit more lenient with the judges.
Should I vote to retain the judges?
I'm going to.
Really?
Yeah, because I think that's a hard position, and you got to be pretty darn smart to become a judge. And
Have you seen some of the judges?
I tend to give the
judges...
judges...
Have you seen the Delphi judge?
Well, I tend to give judges a little bit more leeway, so I'm going to
So we should keep the judges?
That's the way I'm voting.
All right, we'll vote to keep the judges then. I'll do that.
You were easy to sway on that
Well,
one.
I'll make you a deal. You don't vote for Banks, and I'll vote to keep the judges.
Okay, we can do
Very
that.
Good. How about that?
I'll leave the Senate thing blank. And I think also locally, I'm probably going to vote for Whitmer, our guy who calls in and sends me those door knockers all the time. If nothing else, for no other reason that when you went on the air and you said 3 points on your door knocker and that's it, he followed your instruction.
Okay, everything else I think is blank. Other than now, we got to get to the last one, and that's Attorney General. So what do I do with Rokita? I mean, I just despise Destiny Wells.
Yeah.
But then am I accountable for, because there's a chance Rokita's going to get in big trouble with that disciplinary commission.
I know.
Am I accountable for that?
There's a chance you could roll
What
the
if I
dice
just make
on
it
that.
clear? This is to try for humanity.
So protest vote against Destiny Wells.
To save humanity from having to deal with this woman for another 2 or 4 years. What do I do?
Wow. Gosh, I want to say go for Rokita, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, he wants to be political in a non-political position. I don't know, Rob. Can we leave that one blank? No. We got to do something. Come on, what's your gut tell you? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'll tell you tomorrow.
Oh, it's been the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. We'll catch you here tomorrow.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Have you heard about this guy, Donald Rainwater?
I sure have. Guy was a deadbeat dad. Total loser. Not only did Rainwater repeatedly fail to pay his child support, he filed for bankruptcy and had his car repossessed. But what did a court find he spent the money on? Cigarettes.
Hasn't he run for office twice before and lost each time?
Sure has. Maybe that's why he wants the job, so taxpayers pay off all his debts.
But there's someone even worse than Rainwater. This Jennifer McCormick character is a really out there liberal.
Yeah. She's a pro-Biden and pro-Kamala liberal. She opposed school choice, she supports boys in the girls' locker room, and did you hear what she said about Hillary Clinton?
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
She had some great, world foreign experience, so I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
Jennifer McCormick, she's hopelessly liberal.
I'm not voting for Rainwater or McCormick. They're both losers in my book.
Paid for by Indiana Republican State Committee, Inc.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted.
Yep.
I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Attorney General Todd Rokita is fighting to protect Hoosiers. That's why the Indiana State Police Alliance has endorsed Todd Rokita for re-election. They know Todd Rokita is protecting our jobs, protecting us from crime, and working to end illegal immigration, always putting Hoosiers first. Attorney General Todd Rokita is fighting to protect Hoosiers.
Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
Great news! Indy Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers. Call 888-RHINO-41 for details.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
Traffic was backed up on I-465, stop and go, just normal.
We don't get many fires of this scale in this area.
Dr. Monica Walla was suspect Richard Allen's psychologist while he was at Westfield Prison.
It becomes much like a personnel issue for us.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
A morning full of rain and crashes.
Rain is continuing to fall in central Indiana, and it's 63 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. A van was on fire, and a person died this morning on the southwest side of Indy.
What happened was traffic was backed up on I-465, stop and go, just normal morning rush hour traffic, nothing significant. And a person driving a van ran into the back of a dump truck.
State Police Sergeant John Perrine says the van ended up on fire not long after that, and the person driving the van died. But he says that wasn't the only serious crash today. There was also one on I-70 westbound.
Yeah, that one started as a car deer crash, which is something that's very common, especially this time of year. What we call a secondary crash, a crash that happened moments after that one because of what was in the roadway. Very critically injured somebody, and that crash is under full reconstruction as well.
Brian says you need to be extra careful today because the rain is putting a strain on your visibility.
But that rain is supposed to be gone soon.
Looks like things are going to start to wrap up by mid to late afternoon with at least most of the state staying dry for the trick-or-treating this evening.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says much of the state is dealing with dry conditions even with the rain that fell this morning.
Millions of dollars in damage and a 70,000 square foot warehouse destroyed by a fire Wednesday in Peru. Rocky Buffum, director of Cass County Emergency Management Agency, was called to the scene to help.
You know, we don't get many fires of this scale in this area in Cass County or Miami County, and the majority of the personnel in providing fire suppression in Indiana, most of the landmass is served by volunteers.
Don's Amusements was the business inside of that warehouse. The Indiana State Fire Marshal's office is trying to figure out what happened.
Brush fires had to be contained at a wildfire refuge in southern Indiana on Wednesday. Here's Kurt Darling.
They never materialized into full-fledged wildfires, but the Monroe Fire Protection District says it had to spend most of the afternoon containing large brush fires in and around the North Fork Wildlife Refuge Wednesday. It's not clear how the fires started, but they say that they had them contained by late evening. Much of the state is dealing with abnormally dry conditions. Monroe County is not under a burn ban at the moment. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Delphi murders trial was going on today for day number 12. Confessions and witness credibility were the main topics Wednesday's trial hearing. Here's Donnie Burgess.
Dr. Monica Walla was suspect Richard Allen's psychologist while he was at Westville Prison. She testified Wednesday that Allen made several general confessions regarding the killings of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Dr. Walla also testified to Allen's bizarre behavior, and she says Allen may have been faking it at some points. Dr. Walla also admitted in court that she's a big fan of true crime and would talk about the Delphi case online and then with Allen himself. She admitted to not telling the Department of Corrections about this until Allen was moved out of Westville. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Danville Warrior football program is upset with the ending of their season last week against Brebeuf. They filed a complaint with the IHSAA. IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig says he's reviewed what happened.
It really becomes much like a personnel issue for us to manage, and so we will not speak publicly as to what we've done, but we've certainly will address things appropriately.
And he says they're dealing with the matter internally, but they can't replay the ending of the game or change the outcome of it.
And on this Halloween, you might find certain things a bit spooky, but what about psychics?
And now, a WIPC News Spotlight.
When you imagine a psychic, you may picture someone dabbling in the occult, or perhaps you think back to a horror movie with over-the-top special effects. But one professional says this is not accurate. I'm Sasha Nixon. Mark with the Pyramid of Enlightenment in Indianapolis says tarot cards are actually steeped in history.
Back in the 1400s, when they had a book burning, groups of people got together and put all the knowledge that was in books into the pictures so they could disguise it as a parlor game so that they wouldn't be burnt up with the knowledge as well.
And readings are not intended for just one group of people. He says the Pyramid of Enlightenment welcomes people from all walks of life. So why does he believe readings are helpful?
Basically, a psychic is there to show you your free will choices. For instance, if you're going to hit this fork in the road, we're going to see things like, well, if you take this road, here's your outcome, but if you take that road, this is your outcome.
Some also hesitate to seek a psychic's advice due to religious concerns, but Mark argues that the ability to interpret the future ultimately just goes by many names.
My grandma was a Pentecostal person, and she used to always say, God told me, and then whatever she had to say after that. It's all the same thing, it's just what levels, what degree you're at.
As for why October is one of the organization's busiest months,
Halloween is about the thinning of the veil that separates us from the astral world, And so this is the time where our loved ones can come and visit us easily.
You can learn more at pyramid-of-enlightenment.com. Thank you for joining us for Hoosier Haunts, and happy Halloween. This has been a WIBC News Spotlight. I'm Sasha Nixon.
And checking your radar, it is 63 degrees, and yes, it's raining. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm John Herrick. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Tony Katz today, coming up next.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Stevenson Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer in Mooresville. Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
We are now 6 days out from Election Day. Nearly 60 million votes have already been cast in early in-person voting and through the mail. And the latest polls suggest the race could not be tighter. Both campaigns are locking their focus on the battleground states. Vice President Kamala Harris rallied in North Carolina and Pennsylvania today and is in Wisconsin tonight. Former President Donald Trump was in North Carolina earlier and tonight is also in Wisconsin. He landed in Green Bay just a short time ago and then pulled this campaign stunt, speaking to reporters from a garbage truck, proof that he and his supporters are giving no grace to a gaffe by President Biden, where he, in his explanation, inadvertently called Trump supporters garbage.
It was not inadvertent, Nora O'Donnell. I'm glad you're leaving, but you should just get fired at this stage of the game. It's not inadvertent. There are things that are. There are things that are gaffes. With Biden, it happens all the time. This isn't it. It is to not pay attention to what a nasty dude this guy has been his entire career. But Trump showing up in the safety vest and being on a garbage truck, oh, total stunt. Total stunt. I'll full disclosure, I don't even like it. I don't know. I think that's kind of like agreeing that you're garbage. And I get what Trump's doing. He's leaning into it. Getting people to talk about it. Why is he in a garbage truck? Oh, that's because Biden called Trump supporters garbage. Hey, producer Landon, finger on the dump button for this one, just in case I missed something.
You saw those comments from Joe Biden.
Well, I thought that was a bunch of garbage is what I thought. I thought, oh, my gosh, first we're deplorables and now we're garbage? No way. We are the heartbeat of America. We are the United States of America. We are the patriots. We need to get Trump back in office, is what I think.
Well, that's a voter in Romeo, Michigan. First we're deplorable and now we're garbage, going back to Hillary Clinton. If you told me that, honestly, I think Joe Biden says this stuff on purpose because he's trying to tank Kamala Harris, I would tell you that that is absolute, complete and total conspiracy theory nuttery. And I'm totally with you. I think that's what it is, too. Tony Katz today. What's going on? 833-GOT-TONY, 833-468-8669, 833-GOT-TONY. There's something about the visual I don't like in showing up in the safety vest and being on the garbage truck. The idea that you're allowing yourself to be called garbage, I don't know. Something about it is a little bit of a miss to me, but I think that the way it's being taken is the letting people know what it is Joe Biden said. What is it that Joe Biden called half of America? Well, in no matter how you look at it, Joe Biden called half of America garbage. It's who he is. It's what he did. It's not really something that could be debated on any level, anywhere. Called you garbage. I guess he called me garbage too, didn't he? Yeah, this is who he is. This is how he talks, and there is no walking back from it. As a matter of fact, this is day 2 of 3 days of coverage on GarbageGate. That's what I've dubbed it right there. If it was 3 days, 3 days of hearing about this Puerto Rico joke from Tony Hinchcliffe, then I need 3 days to talk about this.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
They want you to believe they're saying that what people have put out there about Puerto Rico, that's the garbage. What Tony Hinchcliffe said, the comic, no. He called the supporters garbage. Now, if you argue, well, he didn't mean it like that, well, why are you allowing Joe Biden to be doing anything? The Harris campaign has been desperate to keep Joe Biden at arm's distance. They don't want the connection. Why would you let him talk at all? But the idea that Norah O'Donnell is going to apparently, Biden said this, and it's a stunt. Yes, Donald Trump in a garbage truck is a political stunt. Just like him working at McDonald's. Somebody had a great meme. The Biden economy, the Biden-Harris economy is so bad that Trump now has to work 2 jobs. It was the picture of him at McDonald's and in the garbage truck. That's great. That is fantastic work. Someone's thinking above their pay grade there. And the people who are more upset about Trump being in the garbage truck are the ladies of The View.
So he owns it. I mean, stop trying to sort of co-opt this argument that he is now the victim. It's gaslighting to the 10th degree. I hope that Americans recognize what's happening.
I hope that Sunny Hostin cries herself to sleep. At this stage of the game, I do. I am beyond not like that. I'm never like that. I want people to lead good, happy lives, and absolutely what I want, even for Sunny Hostin. But at this stage of the game, the level of just vitriolic nonsense. Never once could your side be wrong. Never once could your guy be like not doing it right. Never once could it be like, Joe Biden shouldn't have said that. You called America garbage. Trump's playing on it. It's gaslighting. How dare he? And then you've got another one at The View, Sarah Haynes, saying that, Trump's really insulting the working man.
I think it's really sad that he's appealing to the working man, like the blue-collar worker. Mm-hmm. With the garbage truck, I know that was about garbage, but it was also he wants to look like he can rub elbows at a McDonald's, and he does all these things. The people that will be hurt the most, while he was a president, he reduced by millions the number of workers, and this is blue-collar workers who would become eligible for overtime pay.
It is the blue-collar workers who are supporting him. His appeal to the working man is that he thinks jobs should remain in America. He thinks jobs should be protected in America. He believes that jobs should be protected in America with tariffs to ensure that people buy American, or that companies build plants in America and have American factory workers in them. What are you arguing, Sarah Haynes? And the answer is you're not arguing anything except the talking point that the Harris campaign delivered to you. There is no way that Sarah Haynes on The View has actually gone through the policies and has gone through the data and can make that statement. Impossible. It is obvious that Trump is the guy of the working man. Where do you think the votes are coming from? No one who is a professor at Harvard is voting for Trump. Because if they voted for Trump, they wouldn't be allowed to be a professor at Harvard. It kind of comes with the territory. I have never been asked to head up the Council of American Islamic Relations. I can give you 3 guesses as to why, and one of them involves my circumcision. There's a reason. What a nonsense thing to say. That Trump is not for the working class. It is the working class that believes they have found a hero, a champion in Trump. But no one has been more absolutely nutty than Whoopi Goldberg. And there's a tale here. Tony, you haven't talked about The View in forever. It's true. I haven't. Why are you doing it now? I think that there's a moment of certainly it's interesting to see a moment when somebody breaks. Right? What is the moment where somebody disconnects from reality, they snap and they lose it, and how do they get it back? And it's important to see how it is they play a game. Sunny Hosted is wearing a shirt. Was she a proud Puerto Rican girl, whatever it said? She's still playing on this joke that had nothing to do. Trump didn't